Welcome to DAX Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us on another edition of DAX Machina. I'm your host, D.A. Roberts. Anthony will not be with us tonight. He's not feeling well, so tonight it's just me and these two wild men from the Horror Chronicles. It's Ryan and JT. Guys, give us your intro.
What's up, horror fam? You know what time it is. Let's get into this.
Yeah.
What's up?
I was dying to have you guys do that.
Yeah.
If you guys have not checked out Horror Chronicles, get over there and check it out. The links are in the description for the show. I'll be posting them here briefly in the chat too. But I've known these guys for a hot minute now. I've been on their show a few times. I think this is their second time on here, and just a great group of dudes. It's one of those things that you know when you meet somebody and you've never met them before in your life, but you instantly click. Yeah, that was these guys. It was like we knew each other all our lives within minutes of talking to each other. So I'm really proud to have these guys on the show. We're going to be talking about the Akashic records tonight. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the Akashic records, we did a show about the Akashic records on Horror Chronicles, and you can check that out. But it's such a fascinating subject. I wanted to go deeper into it, and that's why I asked these guys to come back on and do another show on the Akashic records and kind of explain that to y'all. Ryan, why don't you tell us about the Akashic records? I'm talking a lot here.
Oh yeah, you're good, man.
You're good.
First off, thanks for having us on, of course. And like you said, it's funny.
Thanks for having us on, and we're sorry.
Hey, anytime.
Well, you at the beginning of the show, you mentioned, how you meet somebody and it feels like you've known them your whole life, like that's your people, and that's kind of an aspect of the Akashic records themselves. The Akashic records is basically it's a library of your lives, all the lives you've ever lived, everything like that.
All of everybody's lives.
Yes.
Everything living.
Everything that's ever lived. It's a library of all that, and it's a place that they say you can reach through meditation. Maybe saying some certain prayers. There's a few different ways that you can get there. I'm trying my hardest to get there, and you have a cool story, DA, that you're going to talk about here in a minute. That's partly a way that you can get there.
I almost got there the other night, and then my wife walked in.
Well,
and
you
had
be
to quit.
quiet. Look, you didn't even last 5 minutes. For your life. But anyways,
man, I was in deep meditation, dude. I'm telling you.
But yes, it's a place you can reach. I definitely want to. I'm trying my hardest, and because I want to be there. I want to check it out. But you had mentioned, I don't know if you want to get into it yet, but you had mentioned about your dream you had, your lucid dream, which is a way you can kind of get into the Akashic records. Basically, it's one of the pathways.
Like I described when we were on you guys' show, I liken the Akashic records to being like that scene on Supernatural when they went to visit death, and there was just this freaking huge library of everybody's word, deed, everything they'd ever done. Because death catalogs everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. It's like this vast library of all collected knowledge from past lives, future lives, things that have ever transpired or ever will transpire, including thoughts, past lives. It's really just kind of this vast depository of all knowledge. And I know the Buddhists believe that through meditation, the yogis could elevate to a higher level of consciousness and access this. And it can also be accessed through what they call lucid dreaming, which is really when you're in a deep dream, but you realize you're in a dream and you kind of wake up in the dream. You can kind of take control of it. And I had that happen for the first time to me about a week ago. It's something I've been trying to do for a long time. I know people that have done it many times and can do it pretty much any night they want to, but I'm still kind of struggling to hit that where I can do it again. But I have done it once, and I was so astounded. I can't wait to do it again. It's one of those things that you've got to reach that right level of relaxation, but it's like like diving into into the water. You want to dive deep, but you can't go too deep, because if you go too deep, you hit REM sleep and you're basically just asleep. But if you're too close to the surface, you're not really asleep. So it's kind of that balancing act to hit that state where you're in control of the dream. And it hit me just out of the blue about a week ago. Happened, and when I realized I was awake within the dream, it was really weird. It was like I was looking at a wraparound screen. I felt like I couldn't move, but I was like watching everything unfold on this big wraparound television screen. And what astounded me was when I was able to control what came on the screen. When I could control, like looking at memories, I recalled crap from my childhood that I'd forgotten. But one of the coolest parts was not only was I able to find the perfect ending for Apex Predator Dark Moon, which I just released. The final battle came to me in that dream. And in addition, another story that I'm writing, a short story that's going to be about and it's not even about any of my other books. It's just about this poor group of ranchers out in the middle of New Mexico that have to deal with a dog man. And I watched that entire story unfold. Astoundedly. I mean, I saw details and names. It was like I was watching a movie of it happening. I wasn't really there, but I was watching all of the events, and it was amazing. And when I woke up, I recalled every bit of it with crystal clarity, which is unusual, because usually when I wake up from a dream, it's like there and it kind of fades away. But this just stayed crystal clear with me. Even now, it was like I watched like whenever you watch a movie you really love for the first time, how the scenes stay focused in your mind, like how you can throw quotes from movies like I do with Tombstone or Boondock Saints. It just stayed that clear in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you think about it, you may have been close to or in the Akashic records then. Because remember, it's everything that's going to be, everything that is, was, or will be.
Yeah, past, present, future.
So you may have got a jump start on that book or that ending that you were going to do anyway, but you reached that level. I've had lucid dreams. I've had a few of them, but they weren't like, some people get awesome where they get in there like, oh cool, all right, I'm on a lucid dream, this is what I want to do. Now, not too long ago, probably a few months ago, I had a lucid dream, and it was cool. I heard some people talking about this on a podcast I was listening to, and I can't remember who it is. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could remember so I could shout it out. But anyways, they're talking about how you recognize that you're in a lucid dream. So like if you were, say you're standing in your kitchen, right? And you look at the wall, you see the clock, and the clock says 14 o'clock. Not 1400, but just 14 o'clock. Yeah. There's no 14 o'clock.
Right.
Right.
So that's how I'm in a lucid dream. Cool. That's when you can start doing things. And that's kind of what happened to me in my lucid dream. I didn't really get anything out of it as far as like, how you did with your book and everything. But for me, it was just, it was cool because it was the first time I had a lucid dream where I was like, all right, I'm here. And then you can't get too excited because then either you wake up or you just go out of the dream.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what usually happens to me. Yes. I'll get to that point where I think I'm about to start lucid dreaming, and I'll have that moment of like flash of excitement, and then I'm out. I'm like awake. I'm like, God damn it.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to break that barrier, but
yeah. Oh, we're good. I'm just glad I didn't break it. But yeah,
But now he's going to be all over it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep myself. I'm trying to actually, JT, if you want to talk, I'm going to try and see and make sure if our Facebook page is got this going. I shared it earlier on our page. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of cool whenever we were doing our story the last time, we talked about all the ins and outs, and, a lot of people don't, some people may have never heard of it. I had heard of it, but I wasn't really big in, didn't know a lot about it until we were getting ready for that last show. And I started doing all this, research, and it led me down a rabbit hole of insanity, really, to think of, if you can wrap your mind around what the Akashic Records truly is, it will really change your perspective on life. If you think of it as, okay, there is a record of everything I've ever done or said,
Mm-hmm.
everything that I'm doing right now, and everything that I'm going to do in the future.
And possibly the other versions of you in the multiverse.
What happened to me was when we were doing that last show, it immediately popped into my head, is this where deja vu comes from?
You know, that's a very good possibility.
Everybody has experienced that at some point in their life. That feeling of, I feel like I've been here before, or I've done this before. I have those moments all the time. Now, you guys talk about lucid dreams. I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I've ever had a lucid dream. Now, I've had some dreams that were pretty, felt real and stuff, but not to the extent like you guys are talking about. Right. Now, I have had dreams where I dreamt about something and then it ended up coming true.
I've had a few of those as well.
To me, is more like premonition kind of stuff. But premonition can be directly tied to the Akashic records.
Right. It
all molds together in one big lump of, it's crazy. And the more you think about it, the deeper you get into, what is this truly all about?
Yeah.
All right, I'm sharing it on our page, and it's going now.
Ryan sharing.
I was reading before I was. This was 3 or 4 days ago after I had my lucid dream. I started reading more about the Akashic records, and one of the articles I found online said something that really made me stop and think. It said that creative people like artists and writers are subconsciously tapping into the Akashic records and catching glimpses of other worlds. And that's where these stories supposedly come from. And I was
where the creation comes from.
Yeah, you're not really creating these stories. You're catching glimpses of them in your imagination from another reality. And I thought, well, that's kind of mind blowing, but it was really cool. Absolutely. But it'd be really, really neat to think there's a universe out there where the characters that I've got in my books are actually out there.
Well, it goes into my aspect on everything because, like I said, I'm a dimensional guy. I believe in there's different dimensions, which is different worlds, whatever you want to say it is, and yeah, I believe that highly, that things can seep through, and
well, and we've talked about that numerous times, not to get off this subject, but Ryan and I are big into ghosts and the paranormal and stuff. And there's a lot of theory out there about how they could be, we're actually tapping into other dimensions when we're seeing these things.
Right.
Yes.
Shadow people and spirits and,
they can be glimpses through the veil.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you get on Facebook on this slide?
Absolutely.
If people are commenting.
You should be able to see the comments over to the right side of the screen on here. I've
got us at full screen.
Yeah, go on to live now. Okay. Go on to live, or either one of those right there. Yep.
If you're not at full screen, on the far right side, you'll see a icon that says comments, and you can just pop that up, and you'll see the comments as they're popping up.
Play that.
Well, but
will it affect us?
Well, it's muted.
That's fine. I just want to be able to see if we can read, because on my phone I can read it.
We'll see the comments coming through here.
There's comments right there. Click that.
I got you.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. That way I can see what's going on with everybody.
I got you. All right, we're all tech savvy. Akashic.
All right.
Sorry, guys. I want to make sure that we involve the people watching as well.
So. Oh, heck yeah, absolutely.
That way they can
usually Anthony, takes care of the audience more than I do, so it's kind of dividing my attention tonight since he's not feeling well. But Lanita said she's had OBEs, out of body experiences all of her life. That's really kind of cool.
Yeah, and
Jessica's in the house. Jessica would probably be a good one to join us on this conversation.
Yeah,
she's
absolutely.
She's she does remote viewing.
Sweet.
Yeah, she's really, really talented at it. I'm sure she's probably deeply involved in the Akashic records.
I seen somebody mention something about ayahuasca and DMT and stuff like that, mushrooms.
Right.
Yeah, all that stuff that opens your mind.
Mhm.
You know, it opens your
What is
mind.
it? The pineal gland?
Yeah, your pineal gland. It opens up your mind, and you know, of course, that's why I'm a firm believer that our minds are the pathway to
Absolutely,
to the other worlds, other dimensions, whatever you want to say. You know, things like that. It's just pretty crazy to me how much of our minds that we don't use, or we don't know that we use. It's crazy.
right. I'd never even heard of DMT until you started telling me about it.
Yeah, I'm bad influence. But no, I think that you know, DMT, if I was ever to do any kind of drugs, which I never have, which I don't care if you do or not, it's all you, as long as you're not hurting nobody. I'd rather you not hurt yourself, but you know.
I never did any drugs either.
Yeah, they did you. Anyways, no, DMT would be the one that I would love to try to get to that. Ayahuasca, you know, it's the same way. Ayahuasca is the natural way to get to the DMT trip, you know, same thing.
Mhm.
But I know that is very like intense.
Yeah.
And it lasts longer. If you buy like
What is ayahuasca?
That's the shit I was always looking for when I was younger.
So ayahuasca is a plant. So like your body has almost everything has DMT in it, believe it or not. Plant wise and everything like that. I'm not a genius here, guys. I kind of just repeat what I hear on things. But I know that so like your body has what they call MAOIs, which is mononuclear something inhibitors.
Yeah.
So the reason why you don't trip every time you eat a salad is because your body naturally produces something that counteracts DMT.
That, yeah.
So ayahuasca,
that's why you got to find some good shrooms.
shrooms work too. So like ayahuasca is a plant, and you drink. They mix these two plants up.
Yeah, and they mix them in a tea.
Yes,
they?
and
Yeah.
one plant knocks out your MAOIs, so it shuts them down, so that you can trip. Now, if you're not doing this with someone, they have like I guess you call them shamans. They have people who lead you there.
Yeah, it'll help you get there.
If you don't do it with someone that you trust, I would never do it with someone that I do not trust. But
Does it leave you open to suggestion?
Well, the thing about it is that like, so just with any drug, mushrooms included, acid, LSD, if you're around somebody and they mess with you, it can really screw you up, you know? And see, so what's cool about ayahuasca when they do these journeys with the ayahuasca is that they play these songs that the tribal men do. And it's really cool. You can look up, if you look up there's a certain name for them. I can't remember the name of the songs right now, but if you look them up, they're really cool to listen to, and they help you through the trip. I will call it a trip, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Tripping, boo.
But help you through your journey. How about that? Help you through your journey of reaching that place. And with ayahuasca, like I said, the other plant you eat, it numbs and gets, shuts down the MAOIs in your stomach, and allows you to go on. But I know there's like a lot of vomiting and stuff like that involved. It's a really intense. It lasts a lot longer if you do ayahuasca compared to like going and buying synthetic DMT, which is DMT, but it's just it's man-made. That lasts like 15 minutes, but it gets you there. And I would much rather be there for 15 minutes than be there for 2 hours and like not know it. But
yeah, that can be pretty terrifying.
Yes, I like to be in control of things, of my body. I like to be able to to do what I need to do if need be. But
you ever get so high that you feel like you'll never be able to be straight again?
No.
No, I can't say that I have.
Actually, there was this one time I ate an entire cheesecake and a half gallon of milk, and I was pretty freaking tripping. I felt like I was on another planet, guys.
Hell yeah.
But so let's see, we got Jennifer. Hey guys, what's up, Jennifer? We love this topic too, which is why we're talking about it again.
Yeah, it's our second time.
Yeah, in a recent time. But no, what's cool about this is that it's ever expanding as far as the knowledge goes of it.
Right.
Every time someone, gets to reach the Akashic records, and you learn different ways to get there. You learn what they got out of the experience,
right? How
you can be in there longer, things like that. It's ever evolving, which is awesome.
Like we were talking earlier, the Akashic records, it's like, like DA was saying, how, whenever we met, we all kind of just clicked,
Yes.
And a lot of that has to do with each person's own record,
right.
how they were, brought about and how they were raised, and really who is manipulating these records.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there manipulation going on, or is it just, I've lived my life, I'm living my life, and I'm going to continue into the future? Or is there some manipulation going on there that it's like, you've been screwing up. Let me
that's the point.
Push you towards this other path.
So people use the Akashic records to do that exact thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They do that to, maybe straighten your life out. Maybe the reason why you're living this life again is because you
screwed it up the first time.
Yeah, you jacked something up before and you haven't got it right yet.
I'm gonna live this life again.
Hey, you're so lucky you get to see me again.
I am.
You guys are blessed, every one of you. Yes, Lanita, cheesecake is yum. Jennifer, yeah, it's past life connections, and we talked about before a little bit. It's anything and everything that will ever happen, has happened, is happening now. So that's what's cool about it, And for me, the reason why I got into the Akashic records so much is because I am I'm big in dimensions. I believe that there's, upper, lower dimensions, and when you pass from this dimension, you just move on to another one.
Well, let me read this to her just so she'll get a grasp on what we're talking about. The Akashic Records is a compendium of all universal events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent ever to have occurred in the past, present, or future in terms of all entities and life forms, not just human. So, we're talking animals, plants, trees. They're all part of this Akashic record system.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about is trying to get into that. How do we tap into that? How do we get there? To be able to look at some of this. Let me see some of my past. Let me, can I touch the future? Can I get a grasp on what may happen?
Yeah.
And here's a weird thought is if you tap into the Akashic records and you are able to see a future event, can you change it? It's part of the record.
Yeah.
Is it changeable?
But would the record change if you did?
Would the record change? Once your present catches up with that future event.
I think that
now we're getting deep.
Well, I think the Akashic records would have eventualities for every decision you make at that point.
Yeah, well, and I think that you were all trying to get to that key. We're trying to get to that key point in our life. Yes, Pat. Meditation definitely helps. That's one of the best ways you can get there. One of the best.
Yeah, I've heard guided meditations, deep meditations, and also the lucid dreaming is a gateway. That's why I tried the lucid dreaming route, and I wanted. Hopefully, I can do that again. But I mentioned it to you guys on the show. I have a problem when I can't really quiet my mind. So meditation is very difficult for me.
Yeah, I remember you saying you had an unquiet mind. And I had never heard anybody say that until you said that.
Yeah,
That's the best description I could find for it. It's just, even when things are absolutely still, my mind does not shut down.
Well,
And it's caused me insomnia a lot over the years.
Yeah, and that's like we talked about this in our podcast, but I'll bring it up. There's deprivation chambers.
Yes,
that you can go in, and meditation that would really help you.
Yeah, there's a place here in Springfield that does they have a sensory deprivation tanks, and it's not that expensive. It's like $60 for 45 minutes, or like $90 for an hour and a half. I'm thinking about going over and trying it. I really would like to.
Yeah, because I'm the exact same way. I tell you what, working out really has helped me calm my mind a lot. Because I get up at like 4 a.m. to go to the gym, and B, like just that release really helps.
So it was funny whenever we were doing the show the last time, we were talking about deprivation chambers, and we were talking, and I don't know why we didn't think about doing this, but there was I brought up there's a place, and it's supposed to be the quietest place in the world.
It's like at University of Michigan or something like that.
It's actually, I just looked at it. It's called the Anechoic Chamber at Orfield Laboratories in Minneapolis. What it is it's a chamber that you go in, and there's absolutely no noise. It's funny. It says right here they have a background noise reading of negative 9.4 decibels.
So can anyone go up there and access?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I would make the drive to Minneapolis to try it.
It says that this place will drive you crazy within 45 minutes because it's so.
Isn't that the longest someone's been in there? Is what, 4?
Well, I don't know.
I remember reading an article about that, and they were saying something about the longest time someone's before you.
Yeah, it just says it'll drive you crazy in 45 minutes.
I would love to try it. I mean, I don't think it would affect me the way they think it'll affect me, because there are times that I just crave quiet.
Yeah, something that I really love that. Actually, sometimes when I get my best meditation, which is actually the worst time for me to do it, but is when I'm hunting.
Mm-hmm.
When I go out in the woods,
that's a great place to kind of reconnect with yourself.
Oh my gosh, man! The wind blowing through. I got this weird thing, so at the Horror Chronicles podcast, guys, we love everything creepy,
everything weird,
macabre, all that stuff, we
get into a little true crime.
Yeah, but we have a love for Halloween and things like that. But one of the main things that for me, like in October, the fall time, I can just stand on my porch, dude, on a day, and with the wind blowing, just stand there with my eyes closed and just let the wind blow through me. Right. And it just feels amazing. I'm connecting. It's like you're connecting, Do
you feel like Jamie Lee Curtis when she's walking across the river?
Yes.
Halloween? Yeah.
Yes. But
chill down your spine.
I think that that connection, what do they call that, grounding?
Mm-hmm.
When you grounding, I think it's important. I believe that everything is connected, man. We're on this level. And I can't remember if we talked about that with DA, or I know on one of our recent shows talked about that. It may have been with DA. That when you connect to the earth again, you just seem to automatically start feeling better.
Right.
And I think that for as much great that the internet and all that's done, it's really messed up our connection with Mother Nature and with each other.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
And when you do that, you're balancing your own energy with the Earth's energy.
Right. One of the things I read about, it's Native American wisdom, which I take a great value in. I read anything I can find on the subject, and I learned a lot from my uncle before he passed away about the subject. But a lot of Native American mysticism, it says if your life has a negative balance of energy, if you find yourself surrounded with negative energy, one of the best things to do is walk barefoot into moving water.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that.
Wow.
That's one of my favorite things, man.
Yeah, if you stand like knee deep in a moving stream of clear water, you just feel everything just kind of wash away from you.
Thanks, Cryptid Huntress. She just subscribed to our show. She said that
Nice. Thank you.
she saw one of the last shows was about adrenochrome harvesting. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that again. But no, I actually would love to do another show on something like that.
Hell yeah.
It's important to me. Especially when it comes to the kids and stuff like that, Yeah, I mean, I think connecting like that, and I think that's another great way for you to be able to reach the Akashic records. And I think what I was getting at is I think that we try to reach our perfect life, so to speak, our perfect being. And I think, hear me out on this. This is just theory.
All right.
I'm not 100% on this theory. Yeah, bless you, sir. I'm not 100% on this theory, but I think it's that. So they say, some people say like heaven is living your best day every day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think that one of my theories is that when with the life we're trying to reach is that heaven.
Right.
We're trying to reach that perfect life.
Well, they say that when you're actually able to access the Akashic records, they say sometimes you'll encounter guardians, and those could be what most religions believe to be angels.
Yes,
just hired beings in some of the Eastern mysticisms, but very well could be what we interpret to be angels.
Yeah. Well, and the way I look at that is you got to have balance. So you talk about heaven is walking your best day every day.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know if you're having your best day if you haven't had a bad day?
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So you got to have one. You can't have one without the other. I mean, the ancient Chinese have talked about yin and yang for decades.
Right.
Centuries, even millennia.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
But
I want to say shout out to everybody for subscribing if you are.
yeah,
I
thank you
appreciate
so much.
I get so sidetracked trying to make sure I read everything, and I'm not trying to not talk, but I don't want to miss anybody. I know people like to be involved, which I love. This is kind of so also on our show, this is kind of stuff we like to talk about.
Yeah,
we love talking about having conversations with people. That's like with DA. He comes on he's been on our show, what, 3-4 times?
Oh,
I think 4.
So this is a type of conversation you'd love to have about everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just for me with the Akashic records or Akashic records, however you want to say it. I kind of say, why did I say I have like an accent on that?
I don't know.
What's going on? But I'm trying my hardest to get in there to where I can.
Yeah, the Akashic records is new to me. I'm kind of a. Like I said, I had heard of it, but I hadn't really looked at it a lot until you and I started talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then, we had reached out to DA and he was like, yeah, I'd love to do that show. So then I really started digging into it, and it's really fascinating topic.
Well, it's something I found fascinating for a long time, but I hadn't really dug into it. And I've been trying for a long time to try to reach that lucid dreaming state. And for me to just do it kind of out of the blue was kind of mind bending.
Right.
But I tell you though, for days afterwards, I felt different. I mean, it's hard to explain. It's like I deal with with PTSD issues and depression. It was like all that was gone for about 3 days.
That's awesome.
It was why I really want to do it again. It was really an odd feeling. I mean, I felt like I'd come back devoid of a lot of negative energy, and I kind of felt that same way when I stopped drinking soda, when I cut high fructose corn syrup out.
Mm-hmm.
It was like my mind cleared up.
That's what affects your freaking pineal gland. You know what I'm saying? They say a lot of things can, and we talk about that on our podcast as well.
Well, let's talk about that pineal gland.
Well,
we got into that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Over time, it starts to harden or get calcified.
Right. So as a kid, your pineal gland, which is in your brain, it's wide open. It's what they consider the third eye. And that's why kids are so oh, what's the word? You know, they're so susceptible,
Open to it.
There's open-minded.
They're just really open, you know, and kids are very imaginative, and you know, and we talk about this with horror and spirits and stuff like that too. You know, as a kid, you get flooded with all this stuff, and as you grow older, like Ryan said, this keep wanting to say penile.
The pineal.
Sorry, this pineal gland, it calcifies, and there are steps out there. While we were doing research on this, I was going through and reading stories where people had claimed, you know, I can give you the steps that will help you to crack that open and allow you to gain access to these Akashic records.
Dude, if you've got the link to that, send that to me, because I've been reading that there's ways to decalcify your pineal gland. I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, and I mean that's the whole point of, you know, yes, iodine for sure. Iodine's something great for your body. Fish oil.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken fish oil. You know, luckily.
Iodine, that stuff your mom put on your cut when you were a kid.
Yeah. Well,
Thiolate. Oh, that stuff burned like fire.
Hyler. Hyler's what my grandma used to put on mine.
That was rough.
But
Camphophenique.
Yeah. But what I was saying was with. Oh, I completely lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry, dude.
You screwed me over.
Sorry, man.
Both you guys.
That's what we do.
I had a great point, and you ruined it.
That's why we're here. We're here to screw each other up.
But no,
was it about decalcifying the pineal gland?
What I was talking about was, luckily for me, I've always had that imagination, that love. That's what the love for horror and paranormal and all that stuff. My brain stayed open with it, you know. But you know, luckily too, I got into doing martial arts and competing, you know, so I was taking supplements. So I've been taking like fish oil and things like that, you know, for ever since I was young.
That explains that fart a while ago.
Yes. Yeah. But a bit fishy. No, but it
like
really
trout.
that really helps, you know. I think that a lot of people lose that imagination.
And everybody does. I mean, you know, the older you get, it's hard to, you know, it's hard to keep yourself young and in that, you know, imaginative state and open to all this stuff, you know, and it's something you got to work on all the time.
Yes.
I think that's something that me being a writer, I've been writing since I was a kid, coming up with these stupid stories that after my mother passed, I found that she'd kept a bunch of them in the bottom drawer of her dresser. And I reread some of them. I'm like, holy crap, what was I smoking when I wrote this? They were bad. They were obviously written by an 8-year-old, you know. But I've been writing since I was a kid, and I've always stayed in touch with that creative side. I've been doing I've written poetry, and I even had a few bits of it published, doing short stories and stuff, you know. But it wasn't until about 10 years ago when I had a major publication with my first novel. But it's something that I've always stayed in tune with. I've always stayed in tune with my creative side, and I've kind of stayed open to the possibility of the paranormal.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
I think that it's kind of like, to put it into a shooting metaphor or even a jiu-jitsu metaphor, it's a perishable skill.
Right.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
You know, I think that if you don't, it's simple. If you don't use your mind, you're gonna, that muscle gets week.
Yeah, it's like any other muscle. It atrophies without being used.
Exactly, you know. And luckily for me, I guess lucky for me, not lucky for my wife or whatever, but you know. But I act like a kid all the time, man.
Yeah.
I'm 36. I act like I'm 12 sometimes. You know, I'm responsible and all, but I constantly get yelled at. Why is everything a joke? And I'm like, well, you know,
my wife used to tell me I was a big man child all the time.
Yeah.
And I told her if I didn't grow up by age 50, I didn't have to.
You know, and it's funny, you were talking about the creative side of it, you know, where you had writing. I had music. You know, I've written music all my life, and it's kind of kept my mind open to that kind of stuff. But I got fascinated with the paranormal when I was a little kid. And I think, you know, a lot of that came from my grandmother, who was, you know, had a little bit of Indian in her, you know, and she used to tell me stories. And, you know, so as I've gotten older, I still have this absolute fascination with the paranormal and subjects like what we're talking about tonight. Now, my wife, on the other hand, is she's not open to it. But she's not totally dismissive of it either.
Yes.
You know, she
My wife's
doesn't.
just the opposite. She's very sensitive to stuff like that.
Really. Yeah. See, my wife is not. My wife is very grounded, and you know, but she knows that I'm this, you know, fly by the seat of my pants, and you know, I believe in this, I believe in that, and you know,
he believes space is real,
and I believe space is real, and don't get me started talking about the speed of light, because these people don't have time for that. But, you know, I've always been into science. But on the other foot, I was, you know, I got 1 foot. I truly have 1 foot in science and then 1 foot in the grave, you know, because I was so big into paranormal.
Lene, have a good night. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for joining us.
But yeah.
I think that's with everything though. So to get to the Akashic records, if you want to, or to even start off with trying to do lucid dreaming, you're going to have to believe in it.
Right.
You know, if you're not trying to reach it, then you're not going to make. It's just like anything else, you know.
You got to fake it till you make it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you know.
Sorry.
You know, I think a lot of people in this world, thanks to the internet, as like I said, it's great. I mean, great things that it has. A lot of people in this world have lost that sense of wonder. Yeah. You know,
because you can find anything.
We talked about this last night, and we talked about it even with you, I think, on your last episode with us. You know, there's no mystery. It's like you don't have to go look up newspaper clippings in the library anymore.
Right.
Or, you know, everything's right there at your fingertips. You know, and there's so much stuff out there that you don't know if it's what's real, what's not real. Yeah, it's crazy. You know.
Well, I think we could kind of add on to what you were saying a minute ago. I think it is possible for anybody to reach the Akashic records. It's just a matter of whether or not you can clear your mind and hit that level of meditation,
exactly.
Or if you have the ability to get into lucid dreaming. And one of the things you said that when we did your guys' show, you were talking about how you could envision getting on an elevator and pressing the buttons to go to the 8th dimension. I was actually thinking about that the night I made it.
Awesome.
And that was one of the things that as I was drifting, I was concentrating on that. I was thinking, you know, but me being the impatient bastard that I am, I wasn't like going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just went 8.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it was, when I made it, it was completely by chance. I don't think I really did the proper steps to get it and fully control it. That's why I think I while I was experiencing it, it was more like I was watching it than being an actual part of it. I felt like I was awake in my chair, but I couldn't move.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Well, you're getting,
but that screen was there, and I could watch everything, but I couldn't interact with it. So I think I was like on the first level of lucid dreaming. I think I've still got a couple of steps to go before I fully immerse into it. And I'm really looking forward to duplicating the process. Right.
Yeah. 1980 C&H. I'm just gonna call you 1980. How about that? There you go. Yes. It's not that you're really changing it. It's that you're affecting it. Now you can control it.
Right.
So now you're like, oh, I'm in a lucid dream. Sweet. Here we go. And then you go in and you start, you start basically.
Yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. it's kind of like you're digging through your own brain.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy's
Dream
dead.
Warriors.
No, Freddy's dead.
Freddy's dead.
Whenever they shows him going to his brain, and they're going in through his, through the, well, what do they call them? I can't remember. The three guys, the gatekeepers.
Oh yeah.
And they go into his brain through there, and they're looking at all the stuff that happened in his past and stuff like that.
That movie in 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I know the back of my hand. I think that you're almost there. Yeah. And the main thing about it is like we said, you have to open yourself up to it. It's just like with anything else, you gotta believe. And I know it sounds cliche and corny, but it's just like you got to believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. You got to believe in it. And I think that if you believe in something, you can achieve anything. I totally agree. Yeah, you're your own worst enemy or your best.
The vast untapped reaches of the human mind are astounding. I mean, they estimate we use 10% of our mental capacity on any given day. If you can tap 100% of your mental capacity, imagine.
You'd be unstoppable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then if you could tap into that, even if you could tap into 50% of what your brain can do, right, then you're getting into telekinetics and all of that stuff.
It's kind of like that movie Lucy. Now, granted, that was a highly fictionalized version.
It is,
but it was basically.
But there was a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, there was some truth to it. I mean, obviously, they really kind of sensationalized things for the movie, right, but the aspect of actually increasing your mental capacity, opening those mental pathways, you could unlock previously unknown healing abilities. You could unlock previously unknown mental abilities. I mean, it's to me, it's a far greater mystery that I would like to solve than the mystery of what lies beyond our planet. And I'm fascinated by what lies out in the universe. I truly am. I would love to be able to be on Star Trek, where I'm on a ship out exploring the unknown. I would love that. However, having dealt with some pretty hefty injuries in my own life, some of them plaguing me even today, I would like to unlock that healing potential to see if I could regain some mobility and to undo some of the damage I've done to my brain over the years.
Yes. Well, speaking of that, real quick, 1980 sounds like you're getting in there. I mean, that's awesome. I wish I could do it all the time. Corey, I can take control of my dreams. Yeah, that we would talk about that a little bit ago. If you notice something's going on, then you can say, okay, I'm in my dream. Boom, there you go. Now you can fix it. Everybody has the ability to change. Everybody has the ability to control their dreams, but it's whether or not you open your mind up to it, and you got to really try. So yes, everyone can control their dreams if they really want to.
Hey guys, I just sent an invite to my friend Jessica, the Cryptid Huntress. Okay, she's the remote viewer. And she's really into this subject as well. Nice. I sent her a link to jump in and talk.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, get her on here.
Sweet. Yeah,
now, what
Jennifer.
I wonder is, when we look at ancient humans and stuff, like way back, could we possibly have used more of our brains back then? Because you think about stories from the past and stuff, and, how there was a lot of alchemy and different things like that. Were these people possibly using more of their brain than what we use now?
Well, and
are we losing it is what I'm
saying. Well, that's exactly that's what they say with ancient civilizations like Atlantis and things like that. Right. And there's a theory that Egypt and the pyramids and all that stuff was built by people who were way smarter, even and way more technically advanced, than we are now. Right. But they lost it all somehow.
Right. And I think that has a lot to do with not only the diet that we now have as a civilization, because there's so much preservatives in all our food. And I think that's what contributes to the calcification of the pineal gland.
100%.
And people that lived 100 years ago lived on food that was grown in their area. There was no preservatives put in anything. There was no high fructose corn syrup. There were no artificial additives, and people lived a healthier life, and not just physically healthier, but mentally healthier. And you see that in today. Maybe it's because the population is so much bigger, but we have far more mental health issues today than we had 100 years ago.
Well, you got to. I'm not going to go too far into where I would want to go with that, but you got to realize with pharmaceutical companies, look, just I don't know if I should say this or not.
No, go ahead.
There's a certain person out there who's the largest farm owner, our largest farmland owner in the world right now.
I didn't think you were going there.
Well,
never mind. Remember, you better not talk about that.
Exactly. So I better not, because that leads into, people who have no imagination and who don't believe in things and just, walk through life and say, yeah, whatever I got to do. They're easily able to control them. And people who are free thinkers like us and the people in this chat and stuff like that, it's harder to control people like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that I think that's going back to where we were talking about.
Read up on your herbs.
Yes.
I've gotten, over the last year, I have gotten a veritable library of natural herbal remedy books.
That's right.
Healthy herbal medicines. I've got probably 20 books on the subject now, and I'm really digging into the more holistic side of things, because right now, because of my back injury, I'm taking a freaking pharmacy every day.
Right.
And I hate that. I've never liked taking medication.
Well,
in my life.
and I've believed this for years, ever since I was a little kid, that big pharma is holding us back.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree.
My mom had a rare heart issue, her whole life, and she was like you. I mean, there was a drugstore in our kitchen, and it was all like high, heart medication and stuff, like high dosages and stuff. There were some of them that she was taking that when they first started prescribing them to her, they had to get clearance from the government to even be able to prescribe these things,
Yeah.
Because they were doing a lot of experimental stuff on her, because what she had, there had only been like 2 or 3 cases in the history of man.
Yeah.
So they learned a lot off my mom, but unfortunately she died at a really young age. But yeah, I have thought for years that, and this may not be the place to talk about this, but the medical community is not in the, they're not in the business. They're not in the business of healing. They're in the business of treating.
There's no money in the cure. That's all that needs to be said with that.
Money's in the treatment, not the cure.
Right.
But turmeric, yeah, she talks about turmeric right there, Meg. 100%.
Hey.
Jessica, this is Ryan and JT from the Horror Chronicles. Guys, this is the Cryptid Huntress
Horror Chronicles show. and DA's here too.
I'm Ryan, that's JT.
How are you?
It's nice to meet you guys. Man, I just hopped on. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for jumping in.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it won't be so boring.
You guys are not boring. I've been watching the whole show. I'm loving it.
Yeah, Ryan's got to watch his mouth.
Yeah, you should check out our shows that we like with DA. Yeah. We've been doing some really good shows lately.
Some of our best shows with DA.
Yes.
I've done some of my best shows with DA too. DA's been on my show and I've been on his.
Thank you.
Oops, there goes my computer.
Yeah, I mean, you come on our sometime too and talk about whatever.
Shaky cam.
It's an earthquake.
It was like those cameras in the wild that follow monsters attacking people.
Right. Exactly.
But I guess since she's on now, we can go back talking about the Akashic records.
Yeah, what's your take on the Akashic records, Jessica?
Yeah, well, I think it's really cool that you guys are talking about this right now. I mean, it's just a record of everything that's happened. It's going to happen. It's happened in the past, but then we got that weird thing called timeline shifts and stuff like that, and time travel. And so that's actually what I'm going to be talking about this weekend on my show at Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to be talking about the Looking Glass, Project Looking Glass. If you guys
okay.
Yeah, I have a gentleman coming on the show named Frank Jacob. He's based out of Europe right now, but he's really big into the Guardians of the Looking Glass.
Mhm.
Okay. And so it kind of throws this weird, it's like another angle or dynamic to this whole Akashic Records thing. So, so yeah, it's just going to kind of, it's going to be about kind of the Akashic Records, but something different. I don't know.
Well,
And we kind of touched on that on our show that we did a few weeks ago about who is actually in control of this.
Yeah, because I actually first learned about Project Looking Glass on another podcast I listened to called Tinfoil Hat. It's Sam Tripoli.
I like that.
It's really good. It's really good. He has like 20 podcasts. It's crazy, but he talked about that. And that's where I first heard of that. And that kind of, and he had a lady on. I feel so bad I can't remember her name, but she has a Facebook page called Soul Space. And it's about the Akashic Records and things like that, and meditations and things like that you can get to go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? I actually got okay. So I just discovered that there are some people who I was warned actually one day that there are people that can go in and try to change the Akashic Records. If you've got like people wanting to put curses on you and stuff like that, they can go in and try to change your Akashic Records. Okay.
Yes.
So that's a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing, y'all. I had no idea.
Right.
Well, that's what I call, so I don't know if you heard before, like I'm a dimensional guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, there's upper and lower dimensions. And
I
think
am
that
100%. Yeah.
There's higher frequency and low frequency beings. And
Right.
I think those higher and low frequency beings can come in and affect, some people call them demons, some people call them angels, whatever you think they may be. They come in and they can change and affect things,
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I'm actually, you guys have never met me before, but I am a remote viewer. Okay. I've been trained for many years in remote viewing formerly. Okay. And so that's kind of my angle. That's what I do in this paranormal field. Mm-hmm. And I'm a Bigfoot field researcher.
Sweet.
Nice.
We got to get her on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You guys definitely should. She's awesome.
You guys send us her info or something, and just hit us up. We'd love to have you on.
That would be awesome. Well, maybe I can bring y'all on space. I do a show on Spaced Out Radio on the weekends, so maybe I can bring y'all on sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
It's awesome.
But yeah, with remote viewing, we actually in our training we are taught to not associate with those lower vibrational frequencies. Okay, when we're remote viewing something, because they will throw you off, and make you not get to your target.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think about that as well. I used to do like paranormal investigations and things like that. And I still love this stuff, but I tell people are always like, well, aren't you worried about taking things home? I'm like, no, I am very strong-minded.
Strong-willed.
I'm very strong-willed, and like my place is my place, and I will kick you out of that place very quickly, no matter what spirit you are or wherever you're from, So I think that if you're mentally strong enough, you'll be okay. Like you said in your instance, not to even bother with it.
Exactly. Well, and it's like that in everyday life. Okay. Yeah. So it's like, even people on the street, if it's low vibe, like I try to live high vibe. Okay.
Yeah. I'm super high
vibe, babe. High vibe tribe right here. Okay.
Yes.
Because it really does bounce off of you when you're living in a different frequency than the norm, things can't touch you.
Yeah.
100%.
Before you came on, we were talking about I'd actually had a lucid dream experience a week ago, and I'm dying to recreate that process. And it really kind of changed the way I look at things. I mean, I've always believed that lucid dreaming was real. I've known people that have been able to do it, but I had never been able to do it up until last week. And I felt completely different after the dream. I mean, and it's still kind of with me, although it's faded somewhat. So I definitely want to be able to recreate that process. But like I was telling Ryan and JT, I think I just kind of got in on that beginning level because it was not fully immersive. It was like I was watching it on television, but I could kind of control the direction and what I watched.
You can change the channel.
Really weird. Right.
Yeah, that's important. That's actually part of our remote viewing training is learning how to control your dreams and how to work within your dreams. Okay. And like, if you don't like your dream, you can go back and change it. and then realizing that you're in a dream and working. I mean, I feel like I do a lot more work in the 5D than I do in the 3D. Okay. So by that, I mean, like in my dream state, I feel like I'm working on a spiritual level while I dream at night. Okay. So, and I think a lot of people do that without even realizing it.
So I used to, and I need to start doing it again, but I used to keep dream journals. So I'd write my dreams.
I've started doing that.
Yeah.
So here's a little hint. Here's a little like, I don't know. Here's a little thing for you, tidbit for you. If you want to, if you've had a dream where you've lucid dreamed, or even if you have a very vivid dream that you write down, read that entry before you go to bed. And not always, but it helped me before go back into that same dream that I had, but I had more control over it because I guess reading it, put it back in my brain or whatever it is. And so I read that entry, went to sleep, had the same exact dream, except I was more active in it.
Right.
I was more able to respond into it. So
I've had lots of weird dreams, like almost nightmares, that I would wake myself up from it, and then I'd calm down and go back to sleep and go right back to it.
Yeah.
And that happens fairly frequently with me.
Yeah. And I told you the story about the crazy dream I had about my brother-in-law after he passed away. Mm-hmm. I had the same dream like 2 or 3 times in the same night. It was really strange. Now, here's kind of a weird thing, because you guys keep talking about dreams and stuff. I have really noticed as I've gotten older that I have problems remembering my dreams. Like I'll be having a dream and I'll wake up, but within mere seconds, I can't remember a thing about it.
yeah,
It's bizarre.
well, that happens too a lot. I mean, that happens with everyone in general.
And I know, it's happened as I've gotten older, but.
Well, let's be honest with it.
I know.
No, I think that. I mean, you're right. I think that people, we're kind of talking about in the message or in the comments, supplements, vitamins, and herbs and things like that. I think my sons take vitamins every day. Since they were old enough to take vitamins, they've taken vitamins.
I take a vitamin too, but it's that junk you buy at Walmart.
Yeah, see, you have to get good, high quality. Usually if it comes in a plastic bottle, it's not going to be good. Glass is where it's at. But seriously,
that's what I say about my whiskey.
Yeah. But I think that the earlier that you learn that you need to take care of your meat vessel, your
meat vessel, dude.
Your meat suit.
Your meat suit.
Meat suit.
There
you go.
That's better. The better you take care of that from the earlier, the better off you'll be long term. I think, like I said, lucky for me, I kind of got into doing that early.
I have really screwed myself up.
There's still time. It's
never too late.
But I think that if you do that, it'll help keep that pineal gland, from so much,
Yeah, I'm interested in what JT was saying about the person that has the steps that you can do to decalcify your pineal gland.
Right.
And
and I'll
definitely send me that link. I want to try
send you that. Because I ran into that when I was doing the research for that last episode, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It was actually, I think it was a YouTube video I was watching of, but I'm kind of curious. It's a little off topic, but Jessica, how did you get into remote viewing? Is it something you've done all your life, or?
Well, if you wait, we get her on the show, we can talk.
Yeah.
I got you.
No, I'll tell you. Actually, I had no idea what remote viewing was until I was taught it. Okay. I've always had psychic abilities. We all have psychic abilities. Okay, everybody does.
Not me. I'm a brick.
No, but you have it. You have it. If you've got your intuition, you go with your gut. You get a gut feeling. That's being psychic. So
I lived by my gut for 20 years as a cop.
Yeah. Well, we all have it, but I was doing Bigfoot field research. I've got a team that I work with. I got several teams I work with out in the field, and this was over 10 years ago. And the head of my team is an amazing remote viewer, and he's trained for many, many, many years in remote viewing. And so when we were out there doing Bigfoot field research, looking for Bigfoot, we actually had a bunch of UFO activity going on and ET contact. And so he decided that it would be a great idea to teach the entire team remote viewing. So we all learned remote viewing, all of us. And as a team, and we all know we've been training throughout the past at least 10 years now doing that. And so it helps us look into things that we normally wouldn't be able to look into. Okay.
So as a remote viewer, what's your opinion on men who stare at goats?
Well, it's there's a lot of stuff I can't talk about.
Yeah, I got you. I was just
That's all I'm gonna say. So I can't really elaborate on that. But I recommend that everyone watches that. That's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Lanita had a question for you. She said, "Do you fly through the air when having an out-of-body experience?"
It's like in my dreams and stuff. Absolutely, I've flown all over the world.
That's awesome. It's kind of like this is kind of a bad example, but it's like watching Dr. Sleep. When I don't know if you watched that movie, Dr. Sleep. It's there's the main lady there. I don't know if you know the gist of it, Jessica. It's like part 2 of the. Have you watched it?
No,
it's part 2 of The Shining. Basically, it's like a continuation. It's a continuation. It's a newer movie, but there's a lady in there. Well, I say lady, but they're really like demons or whatever you want to say. They feed off of like
same thing.
Adrenochrome.
Demons.
Basically, adrenochrome.
Okay, I'm the one that put that comment up there earlier about the adrenochrome. Yes. That was me.
I know.
So, okay. What is adrenochrome? I'm going to sound like
so adrenochrome is basically blood that is juiced up, we'll say, infused with the adrenal glands. And the best way to do that, which in theory they say what's going on with children being abducted and they do these rituals, they basically hyper drive the blood by scaring them to the point to where they're
terrorized to death.
When it comes to kids, man, it's hard for me to talk about a lot of stuff.
That was the same when I was a cop. The worst things to deal with were crimes against children.
But that's what adrenochrome is about.
So the whole adrenochrome thing is basically they will scare these people so much that their adrenal gland will dump into their bloodstream, and then they essentially drink the blood.
But in this movie that we're talking about, Dr. Sleep, they basically are like, we'll call them low frequency beings that basically feed not off of the blood necessarily. They do drink the blood or whatever, taste the blood, but they feed off the fear. They feed off the fear. They actually suck, the fear out of the kid, like they inhale it.
Like fear-infused life force.
Yes, exactly. But what I was going to get at is there's a lady in there, and she does that. She astral projects, and she leaves her body, and it shows her floating through the air, and she's looking for the girl that she's looking for. And it's actually a movie you would probably it's got stuff in it that it's hard for me to watch, but it's a very good movie.
Yeah,
that
it really is.
You'd be interested in probably. It's
they're actually, that just brought to mind, like they're actually showing this to children with that movie Monsters Inc. I mean, there's
we talk about that in our adrenal. If you listen to our episode, I actually bring that up. I bring that up, multiple movies up, the different things that they're
showing us what they're doing.
It's crazy that you would think about a movie like that and that they would be, broaching that subject. It's scary. Really,
it's pretty messed up. Yeah. Now, but the reason that I chimed in about that when I saw that on your YouTube channel was that I've been remote viewing. I remote view cryptid attacks on Friday nights. I have a show with the guys from Texas Front Porch where I remote view anything paranormal. It's usually like a dogman attack or an alleged Bigfoot attack or something like that. And like tomorrow night or Friday night, I'm doing a missing time. One of my friends had a missing time incident at Brown Springs, Oklahoma, when he was doing some research. So I remote viewed that. But anyways, the dogman attacks, a lot of times when I'm looking into dogman, first of all, I want to see if these things are real. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, and what I'm doing is the majority of what I'm looking at is real. Okay. These dogmen are real. I did one for DA actually in Missouri, a dogman there. And
I have for Missouri. Actually, we talked about that. I have my own experience with dogman that I didn't even know about until we had our first episode with DA. And he's like, that's a dogman.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Well,
when you,
you know-
started talking about the way the hand looked, I was like, that like a raccoon's hand. And you were like, that's exactly what it looked like.
Oh yeah.
Well, when I'm remote viewing these things, I'm really trying to get to exactly what they are, where they come from, and what they eat and what they do. And almost every case of these dogmen, they're out for blood. They're 100% looking for blood and adrenalized blood. Like I'm getting like pituitary glands. I'm getting the hypothalamus. Like all the stuff's coming up to where they're actually looking for like adrenochrome. Basically,
Wow.
and not only dog
that.
men, but lizard men as well. I just did the lizard man last week.
But I read somewhere, and I can't remember where it was, but they were talking about different hunting techniques, and it said that they preferred to scare their prey because the meat tasted better.
Ooh, yeah, that's what they're doing.
Well, now what was that again? They're scared.
It was hunting techniques. And some of it was like harvesting cattle as well. That they preferred to have it in fear before it died because it got more blood into the.
See,
meat.
that's so weird because I hunt and stuff, but like if you're gonna say you're shooting a buck, it's a bad time. Does are better eating than bucks are, but that's because bucks, most time they're in the rut whenever you're hunting. So when that blood, it actually makes the meat taste real gamey.
Yeah, I've never been a trophy hunter. I've always hunted. Whenever I hunted for meat for the.
Well, I hunt for meat too, but if I see a buck, I'm gonna kill it. But but that's because I eat it too. But that's what I was gonna say. It's hard to, you'd rather kill a doe because it's just better eating. That's a little weird that they want that adrenalized blood because as a human, at least as for me anyway, and a lot of other hunters I know, they don't like that because it makes the meat taste tougher and gamier.
Y'all got me thinking I want to sneak up on my cheeseburger and scare the crap out of it before I eat it.
You should do it next time you're with your wife. Just eating, you'd be like, boo! That's hilarious.
Yeah.
My wife would be like, what in the
Jessica, have you ever had a lucid dream?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I mean, I have always been very aware of my dreams. And I've had lucid dreaming all the time. And
do you have any tips on how to actually reach that?
I don't know. It just comes natural to me. So I'm not sure. I don't really have any tips on how to do it because I just kind of do it. But yeah, something did come up. I was thinking about, I wanted to tell you, you know how they've been trying to get rid of cursive writing. Okay. Y'all know about that, like in the schools, which is kind of weird. And you wonder why. Well, I think that I have a really good explanation to that. I think that there's been an attack on our psychic abilities. There's an attack on a lot of things that, lately. And I think that part of that is when we write in cursive, that is us expressing our subconscious. Okay. I know that may sound weird, but it is. And if you were to write down on a piece of paper in cursive, like a question that you want answered, okay, you write it down on a piece of paper in cursive by your bed, put it in your little notepad, write it down. And a lot of times you'll dream the answer to that night. Okay. Now I want y'all to try that. I want everybody to try that tonight. Okay.
Those of us that can still write in cursive.
I'm telling you right now, my subconscious is really sloppy.
Looks like a doctor's handwriting.
Yeah.
Well, if you can just chicken scratch it out a little bit with a little bit of cursive, but yeah, it's actually a way to express your subconscious. Okay.
Well, and 100% I'm with you. And I could go on a whole nother level with this whole conversation but I think that for sure they basically, I say whatever. I don't necessarily think that. Yeah. It's like I tell everybody, they're like, oh, it's the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, and I'm like, listen, if you know their name, they're not running anything. The people beings, whatever it is, may not be people, the beings, whatever it is, if you know who they are, they don't really run anything. You don't know who these people are or whatever they may be. Right. But anyways, I think they really are trying to they are trying to dumb us down, for lack of better term. They're trying to control. Yeah. They're trying to shut your brains off. Don't think here's a phone, here's a computer. And we just talked about this before. I'm sure you heard us say that. It's
JT, I think that's for you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But I think that we are all connected, and you would be able to know more into this being a remote viewer. We're all connected to everything here. I think the earth, trees, grass, everything, and humans, we're all connected at a point. And I think they can do divided together we stand, divided we fall. That's what I'm,
I totally agree.
Complete.
Yeah.
It's easier to control people if they're fighting all the time about nothing.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I want to access the Akashic records, is to be able to answer some questions in my life that I've always wondered about. Also to try to find a much deeper connection to not only my own creativity to fuel my writing, but a deeper connection to everything around me. Because I think we as a civilization, I think we've lost that, especially, when 98% of the population spends their entire day with their nose stuck in one of these.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they say. They say that, AI was going to be, basically we're going to merge with it. I mean, if you look at, the movie Ready Player One, I mean, that's going to be, they already started
It's
Meta.
the future.
Elon Musk is talking about Neuralink and all that stuff. And here's the thing, though. You don't really need Neuralink to be able to talk to someone mentally. You can do that if you try. You can do that if you just open your mind up. You don't have to have machines connected to your brain or a chip in your head to make you be able to do that.
Right.
And,
Yeah, what's interesting too is that cryptids have telepathy, okay, and being someone who's experienced for everything from ghosts to ETs to Bigfoot to whatever, it's all telepathic communication, every bit of it. In my case, so and humans absolutely have always been able to use telepathy, but people don't know how to tap into it. How many times does your phone ring and you're like, oh, that's grandma, you pick up the phone,
or you're thinking of someone and boom, they call you.
Yeah,
exactly.
As you're, that happens a lot.
That happens to me a lot.
Hey, when I die, I want one of you two guys to get my cell phone and text everybody to thank them for coming to the funeral.
Yes, we definitely will.
We'll do it,
I will be that guy. You know that.
We'll do it.
But
everybody like, what the hell?
Yeah. I think that
do a muffled voice. Let me out of here.
I think that people, if they would just anymore, we talk about all the time. It's just anymore people just shut their brains off.
Yeah.
And like we said, if you don't use that muscle, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
So anything you do, like with DA talking about how he's really trying to get into, the Akashic records, and anything you can do to work that muscle,
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what you can accomplish in life, or just what you can do, period, if you open your mind up and just
because I'm going to tell you flat out, I have neglected my muscle for most of my life, my brain for most of my life, and I really, now that I'm at an older age, I'm really paying for it.
Well, and it's funny because, like, so for me, like, I use a working out reference, so like I could go in on a good day and be like, I'm going to bench press 315, for 5.
Right.
And you hit that and you're like, man, that was great. The next day I couldn't put up 225 because my brain just wasn't
right. Your brain's not there.
It's all mental game, and that's just the way I look at it. But getting back into cryptids, like you're talking about,
have you ever done a chupacabra?
I have not come across one of those yet.
That's one of our favorites.
Well, I have not remote viewed it either. I actually looked at that this week because every week I'm looking for something new to remote view for my show on Fridays. Yeah. But I couldn't find an actual attack that I like to not only look at the creature, but I like to look at a personal experience with it and remote view that experience. So that's kind of how I roll.
Have you ever done the Ozark Howler?
I have not. No, not yet.
That's right. That's literally from where we're sitting at right now.
Yeah.
The last attack. So we live right 5 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
And we're in Missouri. We're about 2 hours. We're about 2 hours away from DA. But
an hour and a half the way I drive.
Yeah. So between my house and JT's house,
you're a cop, you can get away with that.
Here at our studio, right in the middle is where the last Ozark Howler attack was.
Yeah.
Sighting was.
Within about 3 miles of us.
Wait, have there been attacks that are reported?
Allegedly, Daniel Boone killed one.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh, I might have to look into that. That might be next week's show. I don't
That
know.
would be cool.
Daniel
Yeah.
Boone in Daniel Boone's journal, which you can still find. I mean, it's publicly available. He reported killing one near Cuba, Missouri, and allegedly had it stuffed and mounted in his private collection. And after he died, it just disappeared.
No, I bet the Smithsonian got it.
Hell, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that.
They got rid of it just like they did the Giants.
And Cuba's just
Exactly.
on the other side of us.
Yeah, just spitting distance from y'all.
Just about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like so we're in the middle of all the crap.
Right in the middle of everything.
I love it though, because I'm pretty like it's funny. We talked about this before on an episode because you're talking about gut feelings and things like that. So I get really. It's funny. I made a reference to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I get cramps whenever there's fucking whenever there's something paranormal going on, or if I walk into a place and I feel energy, it hits me in my stomach.
Yeah.
And it's basically just like she described on that when she's around vampires, she gets cramps or whatever. But that's kind of what happens to me. Like it hits me here, and I'm like, God, I don't want to go in there, or I'm like, let's go in there. Like I know if it's a good idea to go in there, or if it's not a good idea to go in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, but your body is just having a reaction to that because you're picking up on that frequency and that energy. I mean, I get the same thing. Like, listen, when something resonates with me, I get goosebumps. Okay.
Yes,
and there's like actually like on my legs and stuff, like it's really weird. But when something is okay, I can tell when something is true and when it's not. Like when I'm resonating with something, my body has a reaction to it completely. Mm-hmm. And now the same if somebody's lying to me about something, I also have a reaction as well. So.
I have a weird wiring on my fight or flight response. If something just absolute scares me, I have this weird tendency of lunging at it.
Yes.
I got kicked out of a haunted house one time because a guy jumped out and scared me, and I decked him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I was asked to leave.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. For me, it's weird. Because I drive a lot. I work for a delivery company. I drive all the time. So if something happens in the truck, if a tire blows out or anything, like I got a weird reaction time. Like my reactions are, I guess I get it from fighting or, doing martial arts forever. It's kind of like you go into just that fight mode.
Yeah.
I have like I don't know. It's like kill or be killed, I guess, it's, when to go and when not to go. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of natural to you. And I think a lot of people, again, as much as I love the internet and things it's done for us, I think it really jacked us up, and all the all the frequencies.
And now we got 5G and it's just killing people.
and the chemicals that we're getting, pumped in from the air and the water. Yep. Listen, one of the biggest things you can do to help your to decalcify your pineal gland is getting a water filter that takes out fluoride. One. Yeah,
I've got one.
Get you good Alexa
I've never
Pro.
drank more water in my life than after we got that Brita filter.
Alexa Pure Pro.
Alexa Pure Pro. Yeah, that's what I got. Just saying, I am not sponsored by that company, y'all. But they got darn good water. Okay.
Yeah, I think I heard that on Alex.
Yeah. I believe that's where I got it from. But
yes. Wow. No, so we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Me and you are probably on the same page on a lot of things.
Yeah, probably so.
But I think that to get to the Akashic records, we talked about that. I've really been trying to do that, and writing down my dreams really helped get to that lucid dream, and really helped to get to work my way up. And I've been listening to a lot of, like I said, I listen to a lot of podcasts of people who, and I wish I could remember that lady's name, man. But like I said, she has a Facebook page called Soul Space. And she was on the Tinfoil Hat Show, and she was talking about the Akashic records and things like that. And that's where I got a lot of the information. I was like, okay, cool. Now I know. And then I got to looking into things like there's certain prayers you could say to get into it. There's, I think it's like anything else. Whatever helps you get there, just do that.
Right.
Right. Ryan, let me ask you this.
It's figured
if you were able to access the Akashic records, just unrestricted right now, had full access, what is the one thing you would most want to know about?
That's tough, dude.
Well, if I can, well, okay. First off, when you go to Akashic Records, you're not supposed to look into anyone else's records.
Right.
So, that being said, if it's just me personally, I don't know if I would want to know anything, man, to be honest with you. Like, I guess I would want to know about past lives more than I would know about the future because, you know, I have 2 boys and I don't want to know if anything's going to happen. Like, you know, I would probably
live your best life. Man.
Yes. I would probably look into the past more than I would look into the future. We'll put that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I would too. I think for me, it would be to help me reconnect with life. I mean, for years I've been kind of disconnected, and I would want to go back to the past and look at that stuff. You know,
well,
I'm sorry, I want to go back to 1982. You know, I don't know. You know, I mean,
well, it's kind of like I said.
What is it about 1982?
I don't know.
Just good year for him.
It was just, you know.
That's the year my mother died.
Oh,
and
well,
that's
Oh, no.
No. That's one of the things I would want to access. I would like to talk to her. I would like to talk to her again. That's one of the reasons I want to access.
See, and that's my thing.
And that's with me. My mom passed away in 90. You know, and you always, you know, people are always talking like if you could sit on a park bench and talk to anybody, you know, alive or dead, you know, famous or whatever, who would it be? And I'd be like, you know, I'd love to just sit down and talk to my mom for a little bit.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. See, I have my mom still and my dad, but like if I go back and talk to I would like to sit down and have an adult conversation with my dad's dad, my grandpa. I haven't had a grandparents since I can't remember. I was probably 5 or 6, but my grandpa was awesome. He was always talking to us and showing us things and teaching us about life. And he died when I was really young. And I would always like to have an adult conversation with him about life and things like that. Yeah. But like, you know, what's cool about the Akashic Records as well is it gets into your people. Right. So, you know, we talked about this, how like when you meet someone for the first time, you're like, damn, we just click like we've known each other forever. Yeah. You know, well, it's probably because you have. That's your people, you know. Yeah. And see, like for me, I've been with my wife for 20 years. I'm only 36. We've been together since we were 14. And that's when we met. And JT knows my wife very well. And we are like, I mean, we are each other. We know that we are each other's soulmates. And I told her like, and we have a little saying thing, you know, and it's like, you know, I will love you forever in this life or next life, forever and on, you know, and it's that strong. And that's why everyone's like, how can you be the same person for 20 years? Oh, I'm like, you know, if it's there, it's there.
Right. Exactly.
And that's your people, you know, like when I first met JT, like, you know,
we just clicked like immediately, you know. And like
every person has,
you know.
Yeah, every person has like an aura, or you can call it an energy field. Every person has their own specific frequency of energy about them. And I think when you encounter people that match your frequency, those are your people. Those are the people that you instantly feel connected to.
Well, that's like Jessica was talking earlier about low frequency and high frequency and stuff.
High vibe, low vibe.
Yes.
And, you know, like you said, when your frequencies match, you know, I mean, and that really hits hard for me, like in music, you know, when musicians gel together, I mean, it's magical, you know, and people are the same way.
Yeah. I mean, I've met people that I
don't know that we're magical, but, you know.
I am magical.
You're magical, for sure.
Magical, for sure. But no, you know, I've met people who have 98% of things.
Okay, well,
hey, we're not really in our studio. We're standing in the bushes outside his house.
But no, I have met people who have 99% of things in common with me, but I cannot stand. They're just not my people.
Right.
You know, we think a lot of the same things together and all that stuff, but they're just not my vibe. I can't handle those people. You know what I'm saying? But I got a feeling.
I get it, man. I get it.
I got it. It's cool because doing this we started this podcast about 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it'll be 3 years in September.
So, we've met a lot of really cool people like DA, and now we're meeting you. And, I could tell that, at least for me and you, probably got a lot in common. I think a lot
Probably.
about the same way.
If you like that Alexa Pure Pro, I know we got something in common there.
Yeah, well,
He likes his water.
It's just funny.
Like
JT
good
knows.
water.
DA, I do love water. I got well water, so I'm good at it. But
my Patriot Supply.
We got our Brita filter, and my son started giving the dog filtered water, and now he won't drink regular water.
Oh, so fancy.
my
He got
my dog's
snobby.
bougie.
Oh, so is mine. She eats better than I do. Like literally. I mean, I probably spend $500 a month on freaking food for that dang dog.
Jesus.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is,
She's a
yeah.
good
We
dog.
love our dogs.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's another thing. The connection between man and dog. So I told JT I hate cats because
Man, I love cats.
they're not loyal. They're not loyal.
They're
That's
not.
one of the things I found from crime scene
Love 'em more.
investigation. If a person dies in a home and they have a dog will lay down next to them and die with them. But if they've got cats, within 24 hours, the cats are eating them.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
Oh,
real.
yeah, and they go for the soft bits too. They'll
The
go
face.
for fingers. They'll eat your nose off your face. They'll start on your cheeks.
And if someone breaks in your house, your dog's gonna, do its thing. If
Your dog will
someone breaks your house
defend you.
and
A
the
cat will be like, silverware's over there.
cat's just gonna look up and be like, and then put its head back down and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
That's all it's gonna do.
It's funny. People walk into my house and my dog runs behind me and barks at them. You know?
Dad, I
But,
don't know. What
she's,
that is.
she's only like 30 pounds. So.
But no, that connection there too. It's cool because you talk about cryptids, and we talk about Bigfoot a lot.
Yeah.
And we're talking about how like they're interdimensional
she might
being.
be good for that.
Yeah.
So
They're
she's
absolutely
close to her.
interdimensional. Yeah, I mean that's my thing. Like since the first time I've been out in the field, I mean, I think my first experience was a cloaked Bigfoot. Something ran up behind me and swept my legs out from underneath me. So, I mean, they disappear in a flash of light. They reappear. Their tracks disappear out of nowhere, into thin air. So, I've been doing it long enough to where I am very confident they are interdimensional beings.
Right. And the way we look at it is, if they're not traveling from dimension to dimension, why aren't we seeing more of these? And B, like, why aren't we finding like remains?
Yeah.
If they're smart enough to avoid us, they're smart enough to bury their dead.
Yeah.
That's true too.
You're right.
Or take them through back to with them wherever they go.
Yeah. Well, I think they can
in
change their
in
density.
the case of the siege at Hanabi, when the family that was being attacked, they were actually engaging them in a firefight, and they said that they would take extreme risks to drag out their dead and their wounded.
I think everybody's mad about my cat comment.
They should be. They should be.
Look, guys,
Cats are beautiful creatures.
Touchy
It's all-
subject.
it's all good. Like I would never hurt an animal like that on purpose. I kill deer to eat because I like the way deer meat tastes.
I don't even do that.
But you would if you had to.
Oh, if I had to, I would.
It's like it's funny.
Maybe.
This is another analogy that's gonna make people mad, but I tell people all the time, they're like, cause I tell people how much I love my two sons. I love my kids. Like the love I have for my kids is undescribable. And people are like, oh, I feel the same way about my dog. I'm like, really? I said, cause guess what? If you had a kid and your kid was hungry, you'd kill that dog and feed it to your kid because your kid's gotta live. That's what it is, That's
If it was a bad enough circumstance, yeah.
you're gonna do what you have
Wow,
to
the
do for
screen just went blank.
everybody. Quit washing now.
Numbers are dropping rapidly.
You knew what you're getting into, Da.
You just lost about 10 subscribers. Just
Yeah,
now. It's okay.
it's all right. It's like I always tell everybody, I need some more haters because my old ones are starting to love me.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that
got
statement.
enough
That's a good
haters, huh?
one.
You got
Look
enough
at
haters
Anthony.
out there.
Hey, Anthony, I hope you're feeling better, buddy. Cats are good eating. Come on, though.
Hey, what's funny about that is that they do
Tastes
hunt
like
out-
chicken.
They hunt
Everything
out
tastes
in
like chicken.
Australia.
No, thank God for chicken, because we'd never know what anything tastes
Oh,
like.
God.
DA, it's funny. DA had one of the funniest stories about a cat. Wasn't that a cat that attacked you on the road that one night?
That's probably not fit for the air.
But good. No, it's going back to the Bigfoot thing, and being an interdimensional being and stuff like that. So do you know who Les Strode is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Survivor Man.
Yes, he's awesome.
Oh yeah,
he talked about his not seeing a Bigfoot, but hearing some things that he couldn't explain. And I trust that your BS factor,
right.
I trust that guy when he says what he says. Like he's
he's legit, I think, for sure.
I get that feeling from him.
Yeah, I do too. And I've seen those shows where he was kind of focusing on the Sasquatch aspect of all of that, of the survival stuff. Totally respected that a lot. Now I got to tell y'all, I've spent a lot of time out in the woods, and my team has actually documented, and I talk about this a lot on my shows and stuff. We've actually documented a portal, what we consider to be a portal in the woods. Okay. And we actually sent 2 guys into it to check it out, and they disappeared. Their heat signatures completely disappeared off of the thermals. And then they noticed an entire change in the environment, temperature, the stars disappeared. They knew something was wrong. So they turned around and walked back out, and their heat signatures reappeared. So we believe that there are portals out there. When I say a portal, this was just like a black square, like a square that showed up that you couldn't see with your own eyes. And these guys went into it and disappeared, and then came back out. And then the thing shrunk down, and it moved, and it disappered. So when we talk about portals, it was because, but let me tell y'all, we take our Geiger counters out there. There was a radiation spike. Both gentlemen got very, very sick after that incident. Oh. And one of them's actually passed away. This has only been a few,
wow.
From I'm not saying he passed away because of that incident, but the radiation must have been pretty bad. Is all I'm saying.
Now it's funny you talk about this portal. I have read some articles and stuff about there's these spots in the woods where it's weird. It's like the trees or the vines or whatever will grow in a circle and leave a perfect circle. Yeah. And they claim
great band. Sorry.
That's a portal. Do what?
It's a great band.
No, it's not.
Yes. Yes, it is.
But they claim these are portals to different dimensions.
Could be like a Stargate or something.
Exactly.
Find out if some of those
there's also
existed along ley lines.
Staircases that they find in the woods.
Yeah, the staircases
that go nowhere.
Just strange. They pop up out of nowhere, randomly. A staircase in the woods. You know.
Yeah.
Now that is bizarre. That's some bizarre stuff, and I'd
really
like
weird.
to dig into that.
Now, my gut with those staircases, I feel like that's just somebody did that. I feel that's just like an art project or something. That's me personally, but I don't know. Like I said, we've experienced.
It's bizarre because they pop up all over the place.
Yeah,
some of them
it is weird.
Years and years and years.
Yeah, but
with no foundation around them.
There's so much weird stuff that we really can't explain, and and especially the more that I remote view stuff like the Dog Man. Bigfoot and Lizard Man, my reality is so different today than it was 10 years ago. Anything's possible,
So I'll tell you my story real quickly. My Dog Man story. We talked about it on one of our episodes we did with DA. When I was a kid, I was probably 13 or 14. I grew up in a very small town, population of like 500, and there was like 9 or 10 of us boys that grew up together from different families and stuff, but we still talk today. 30 years of friendship, that we still talk in a group text message every day. Mainly just talking crap to each other, but it is what it is. But anyways, we were camping out one night up by close to a graveyard out in the middle of nowhere in the national forest, and we had our little perimeter set up. We took fishing string and we put cans on it so we can hear it, put rocks in them so we can hear it, and then we built a platform up in a tree, and we all had to take watch, this is, we're kids doing kid stuff. And so I think we had a 22 or something with us. So whoever was up in the tree stand got to keep the gun or whatever. So we're sitting there, and the tree stand was, I'd say, about 50 yards away from where we were camping at. It was like around the end of our perimeter of our stuff. And so we're sitting there, and one of my buddies that was in the tree, he started screaming and yelling, guys, come, something's trying to get me. And we're like, what? Well, we thought that it may have been a bear or a cougar. So we ran over there real quick. All of us, we had like little firearm torches and stuff.
Sorry, the cougar thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We wish. No, but
it's not dragged off by a middle-aged lady in a Beamer.
Anyways, not the show for that, JT. But
I'm sorry.
We run over to this tree, and we look up, and he's got the gun pointed like to his right, and he's like, it's over there, and we're looking on the tree, and we seen these like claw marks on the tree. So we have flashlights, and we point the lights over to where he was pointing the gun at, and there was a tree about about that big around, and we shine a flashlight, and on each side of the tree, we seen these two little lights look like eyes. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then I told my friend, I was like, look, I'm like, what is that? And he looks, he's like, those are eyes for sure. And it was probably about 20 yards away from us. Mm-hmm. And then I seen these hands come around the tree like this. And they would look like big raccoon hands. And when I said that, when I was telling DA the story, he goes, "Would they look like raccoon hands?" I'm like, "Holy shit, that's exactly what it looked like." He's like, "It was Dogman, I guarantee you." And when that happened, and my buddy got excited, shot towards it, and it took off through the woods, and we heard it hit our cans.
Whoa! What color was the eye shine? Was it eye shine?
It was eye shine for sure. It was like an orangish yellow color.
Yeah. Wow. How tall was it, do you think?
I would say, now I don't know if it was kneeling or something, but I would say it was probably about 6.5. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jazz hands.
Raccoon jazz hands.
So cute.
I would say it was probably...
This one, not so much though. Let me show you this one.
Yeah.
But it definitely looked gray hands, long, looked just like raccoon hands.
Wow.
But I would say, and I was a kid too though, so maybe it was probably around 6 foot tall. Get off the screen.
It's a trash bandit.
I would say it's probably
a trash panda.
6 foot tall, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time, so
yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, he said it was like I guarantee it was a Dogman thing. I was like, holy crap!
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
I've heard the hands described as being raccoon-like, almost like you have an extra digit.
That's awesome.
Exactly what it looked like. That's
the first time I've heard that. Raccoon hands. I like that.
It's pretty crazy. And
raccoons are actually very dexterous. I woke up one night camping with some buddies, and I heard something unzipping our tent. And I thought, holy crap, somebody's coming in here. So I drew my pistol and lit it up with the tactical light, and it was a freaking raccoon coming in our tent looking for our food. I almost smoked that little thing. And it looked at me like, what?
Wow.
Like I was insulting it. Like, what are you pointing down at me for, jackass? And then it just kind of went on its way. So from now on, after that, every time I go camping, I make sure the zipper's at the top instead of the bottom.
Wow.
There you go.
That's a good tip. That's a pro tip. I need to remember that next time out in the woods. Keep
your zipper at the top.
Yeah. Hey, DA, you got that really great picture of the Dogman at Joe Bald that has the hands wrapped around the tree. So, yeah, bring that picture up. That's one of my favorite Dogman pictures, actually, because yeah, you can see its hand. We can just see the kind of claws, I guess.
Let me get the other picture of the hand. I know I've got another picture of it. Give me just a second.
You got 5 seconds.
Well, I got to find it is the thing.
You done lost it.
Yep, afraid so.
Well, I mean, I can tell you
there we go.
That's exactly what I saw.
You can see the hands.
You can see the
that
little
hand?
claws,
Trying to see where
the little white fingernails.
Oh, gotcha.
You see
Okay.
him?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there it is, right there.
And this one,
There's 4 of
even
them.
though it was taken on a cell phone, you get a really good indication of the wolf-like head. You can see the nose and the ears in the background.
Right.
and
Okay,
the spots
yeah,
where the
yeah.
eyes are.
Yeah.
We captured that on a cell phone video down at Joe Bald Recreation Area. It's an abandoned campground down by Kimberling City.
Wow.
See it, yeah, because we spend a lot of time in the woods. Like we like to camp and stuff like that. And there's been the thing now, like we literally just, I don't know, a week ago had a black bear in our backyard. You know where I live at.
Yeah.
So
Oof, that's a good picture right there.
oh, there you go. Yeah.
You can see it way better.
Wow. That's cool.
It looks like
Man,
a
it was
goat
just shot on
man.
a cell phone camera. We had no idea it was there.
Man, I have some pictures. Oh, I got more videos I need to show you.
Oh, nice.
I
Oh,
have,
so one place.
yes.
Okay.
I have some of the best paranormal evidence that I've ever seen, including on TV shows
Yeah.
and with the people that I've like been involved with.
Yeah.
I wish I could show you some. I will.
Yeah, it's one of those things we really can't talk about it, but there's a local business here that they know Ryan, and they have sent him some of their like surveillance camera footage, and it's some pretty.
There is some
pretty crazy
gnarly evidence I have on my phone right now, and I'm
Ooh,
like,
I got to see that.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. Like, I'll show
Wow.
you, man.
Yeah.
We'll get you on the show sometime, and
I
maybe,
would love to. Yeah.
I mean, just send us a message through our Facebook page or
Okay.
however you want to do it. You can email us.
Okay.
The horror
I just
Chronicles.
subscribed. I just subscribed tonight. I am the Cryptid Huntress. So
Yes, I actually
Yeah.
subscribe to your YouTube page.
awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
But-
you.
Yeah, I got some
Appreciate
killer evidence to show you. And
I
you'll
would
be like,
love to see that. I will look, if you'll show me that evidence, I will totally come on your show.
Look at that. You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
I'll show you mine, you show me yours.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm 100%.
Deal.
I want to know how to get into this remote viewing thing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I am very particular about it right now. I've only taught one person so far,
Right.
remote viewing, and I was actually taught it by the head of my team. So I
Right.
just kind of happened upon it. I was it was kind of in my on my path. So I mean, anyone can learn it, and there's the Monroe Gateway programs that
Okay.
we use, and there's different programs. I mean, if anybody's interested, hit me up on my website, thecryptidhunters.com. Send me a message, and I will send you all sorts of information on remote viewing and how to get started.
I definitely want to get you on the show so we can talk in depth about it because it's a fascinating subject.
100%.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to. I love talking about it, and I do a lot of it because it's like my favorite hobby. So
Right.
yeah, it's just fun for me.
And that's why we started this podcast too, is because we love freaking we love talking to new people, having conversations like this. That's again, like I said, this
We
is
even
one.
love talking to old people, and you don't get much older than DA.
Well,
That's right.
I mean,
That's right. You ain't much younger than me. Who you talking about?
I'm not.
no, but I mean, for all the negatives about the internet and AI, the great thing is we can talk to people that you probably would never run into.
Exactly.
So it's really cool. We made a lot of awesome connections with people. So and hear some great stories and things. Yeah. And I mean, it's cool to be able to talk to people who are of like mind.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I agree.
Corey.
I hear they're asexual.
What?
He said if a Sasquatch kidnaps me, I hope it's a female.
Oh man. You know what? I actually did a show about 2 weeks ago on the Sasquatch abduction of, I think it's Albert Austin.
Albert Austin.
Yeah, up in Canada, and
That's a
that
good
was
story.
that really happened, and he was kind of like bundled up in his sleeping bag and thrown over the shoulder of a Bigfoot, and that trotted off into the mountains for like 3 hours and took him to the Bigfoot's family, and he stayed there for 6 days.
Oh my God!
Yeah, with the Bigfoot family. Yeah,
Man, that's crazy.
it was crazy, very crazy.
Yeah.
Good story
Dude, that's
though.
cool though. That's cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. 'Cause, well, not about Bigfoot, but about UFOs.
I
So,
was just gonna bring that up.
well, that's telepathetic.
Yeah.
Telepathetic. I like that.
But
That's
no, Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
The abduction case.
Yeah, so their granddaughter is a UFC fighter.
No
Oh, I didn't
kidding.
know that.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
actually really good.
Bet anybody gets in the ring with her experiences missing time.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's funny because she was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and the next episode he's at the end of the show when they already finished recording, she's like, "Oh yeah, I was gonna say this, but I forgot. But now my grandparents are Betty and Barney Hill." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "How could you not bring that up on my show?"
Right at the beginning.
Exactly, because he's huge
What?
in the UFOs and stuff like that. So.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I'm hoping that she comes on. I think she's gonna come on and tell that story and tell their story and the inside scoop of what's going on.
Right.
Oh my God.
Well,
You know what? I wish you guys, y'all got to tune in on Friday night with my friends who had the missing time at Brown Springs. There may be a little alien involvement. I'm just going to say, I
Okay.
don't know.
Well,
I don't
there's
know.
another
You'll have to
Definitely
tune
tuning
in.
one of
Yeah,
the
please
greatest,
tune in.
one of the greatest UFC fighters.
Can we get to that through your website?
You can. Well, yeah, it's going to be on the Cryptid Huntress on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I subscribe to it, but you should subscribe
Okay.
to it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but everybody subscribe.
Yes, everybody.
Everybody subscribe. Ring my bell.
But
I will pull the link up and put it in the chat.
cool.
Thank you.
Another great UFC fighter, probably my all-time favorite, GSP, George St. Pierre.
Mhm.
He's believes highly in UFOs. He actually thinks that he's been abducted. And he talked about that on Joe Rogan's podcast about missing time. He talked about how he would go through these spurts where he would just miss hours
Yeah.
and not know,
Yeah, you hear those stories a lot. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You ever listen to George Knapp?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
For sure.
I could listen to that guy for hours. Just talking about different things, and now he's really big into the UFO community. He does a lot of the conventions and stuff now. I'd love to just sit and talk to him for an hour.
I had the chance to talk to Travis Walton a few years back. He
Really?
was at the Ozark Mountain UFO conference down in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Really nice guy. I would love to be able to get him on the show, but I haven't been able to contact him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Corey. I feel you, Corey. I've been there, done that.
You were talking about Rogan a while ago. The show he did with Bob Lazar
Yes.
was really good. Really good.
There's so much there.
Yeah.
I could go off on a tangent on like everything we mentioned. So I try to keep myself under control because I just love talking about that stuff.
Well, here's the thought. If you have been experiencing abductions and you have those missing time episodes, could you find out what happened through the Akashic records?
Ooh.
Boom,
You can
see?
find out. You can find out what happened through remote viewing.
That would
Man,
be,
there you
interesting
go.
as well.
Damn.
I don't know that I've ever experienced missing time that wasn't alcohol related. So I don't think I've ever been abducted.
There's a couple movies I watched where I felt like I freaking missed some
Yeah.
time. Wish I would have
Yeah,
done
there's
it.
a number of movies that are 2 hours of my life I'll never get back.
No, it's funny.
Absolutely.
Someone made another podcast, friends of ours, Land of the Creeps. Their Facebook page, one of them mentioned something about if you could ask something about aliens a question or something. And I said, why are they so anally
Attracted.
So, yeah, I'm
Say
like,
no to probes.
Probing
what's up
time.
with the probing?
No
Yeah.
probes.
I think that's just a scare tactic for them to. I don't know.
I think they really do that stuff. I don't know. I've seen some weird stuff. Let's just put it that way.
Well, we're talking about the Greys. There's there's a bunch
Well,
of
and then
different.
there's other reports of people that have woken up and had like fresh wounds and gone to the doctor and had things dug out,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
like possibly tracking chips or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of instances where it was like bizarre pieces of metal that they couldn't really
Identify.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
there-
You can explain how it got there.
I just want to know Did the aliens build the pyramids?
I mean, we had giants we still have giants roaming the earth. Okay. We've had giants. There's all this sound vibrational frequencies that can move stuff. There's, it's a good question though. I think it's a possibility.
Yeah. It had to have been like we talked earlier, a civilization a lot more advanced than.
Well, they say that the pyramids actually, and like the Sphinx is a lot older than what they say it is.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because the erosion.
Sure.
It's not just the fact that they built these things; it's the fact that they built them in perfect alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the stones are so heavy that even today we can't put them. We wouldn't be able to move them to get them where they're at.
And where they had,
they were 500 miles away from where they're
Absolutely.
brought to.
Yeah.
Corey Cole had an interesting comment. He said there's a video of a surgeon trying to remove the implant, and it's getting out of the way of the instrument when he's trying to grab it.
I think that's exactly what I was thinking about. Whenever
I
you
remember
said
seeing that video.
when you said that them trying to move something, that's exactly what I thought in my head. I just can't remember where I seen that at. I don't remember.
Somewhere. I just don't remember where.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds. I'm not trying to bring this up. I'm not going to say the actual word, but the thing that a lot of people were getting the past couple of years has graphene oxide in it, and that it's like a metal, and it had a life of its own, and it moves, and it's like it's alive.
Yeah,
it's that thing that people were getting. Not me, but a lot of people.
If you think about it, your body is electric. Really, it's crazy because your body is
energy. It's pure energy.
Well, your body is electric and water at the same time.
Yeah,
it's it's pretty crazy.
Your brain impulses, all your muscles, they all are using electric impulses, and when you die, those electrical impulses stop. But we all know from physics and the laws of physics that energy cannot be created or destroyed. Where does that energy go?
Straight to your butt.
No, that's why they put the plug in there.
Oh wow!
Sorry.
Yes.
We joke a lot.
Is that electricity that fuels your body the soul?
Yeah. Well.
Well. So if there's a lot of people, and I'm not saying us here, but there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, I don't believe in a soul, and and all this. And until you actually sit and watch somebody pass away, I know this without a doubt. When my grandmother was sick and dying, I was in the room with her when she passed away, and I know for a fact that I'm going to say that I saw her soul leave her body. I didn't see it as in a manifestation or anything like that, but I could see the change of her body as
100%
as she passed.
You go ahead.
And I know for a fact that everything has a soul.
So when I was younger, probably 14 or 15, we used to jump off this bridge. I know if my mom knew half the shit we did, she would probably have a heart attack. But so we were jumping off this bridge. It's about 30 feet. The Newburgh Bridge on there. The one.
I know.
So we were jumping off this bridge into the water, right? Yeah. We were jumping off this bridge and stuff. Well, there's this dude. He's probably 45 years old, 50 years old. He was all plastered drunk, and he climbs up on the bridge, and he climbs over, and we were jumping off the bridge, but he climbed over and was hanging there, and he slipped and he fell. Well, when he fell, he looked up at me, and I almost grabbed his arm, and it's very vivid, burnt into my brain, because I remember he reached up, and I went to grab his hand, and then I just nipped his fingers, and he was falling. He was looking at me as he was falling. Well, right whenever he turned, right before he hit the ground, because he hit the sand. He only fell in 2 inches of water.
Wow.
So he fell, and he spun around when he fell, and he hit the ground, basically hit the ground. Yeah, and then rolled over. And I remember he rolled over, and he was sitting like this, and then he was shaking his head and chewing on his tongue because he broke his neck. Oh. He died. Well, he died there. Oh, and I remember he was floating in the water. And I was still looking at him because I literally was right there, and I tried to grab his hand.
Right.
And I was just staring at him. And as he sat there and he stopped shaking his head and he was just sitting there floating, I watched his face go, because he was out in the sun.
Yeah,
he turned gray and it just went from the top of his head and just kept going down his body. And I watched his whole body just turn a different color.
What I noticed with my grandmother was her eyes. How her eyes just, you could see the life just come, you know.
Yeah, the lights go out.
And that energy had to go somewhere.
Right.
It had to go somewhere. And it's funny with her, and I'll quickly tell you the story about my brother-in-law, but with my grandmother, after she passed away, a few weeks after she passed away, I started having dreams about her. And I have always believed that, you know, when a loved one passes, they're going to come back to you at some point, you know. Just really quickly, my brother-in-law passed away, just a really weird, spontaneous medical condition. He was only 44 years old. And I grew up in a house full of women. I didn't have a father figure. And when my sister married him, he was kind of like, you know, he was the big brother. He was the father figure to me, you know, and he was one of those guys. He was very strong. He was a devout Christian and just, you know, he was somebody that you respected, you know. And when he passed away, we had already moved down here. My my sister still lives in St. Louis. And so my wife was going to St. Louis a lot and helping her out with the kids and stuff. And I had to come home to work. Well, there was one night that I had went to bed because I had to work the next morning. And I had this strange dream that he was standing on my staircase. When you walk out my bedroom door, if you look to your left, you're looking right up a staircase that goes to the second floor. And he was standing about 3/4 of the way up on the staircase. And he was just standing there and he was kind of waving, motioning. He was trying to get me to come up the staircase. And after I saw him, I woke up pretty quick and I was like, what in the hell was that? Well, I went back to sleep. And when I went back to sleep, I had the exact same dream again. And this time, whenever I woke up, my feet hit the floor. I'm like, okay, what is going on? And I reached out and I grabbed the doorknob of my bedroom door. And it was, I couldn't open the door. I just couldn't get myself, I don't know what it was, but I was frozen. I just could not get myself to turn that doorknob. And I remember thinking, what if I walk out there and he's standing on that staircase? What does he want? Why is he here? Now, he knew, he had known me. Him and my sister got married when I was like 12. So he had been a part of my life for 30 years, and, or not quite 30 years, but anyway, he knew that I was really big into ghosts and hauntings, and him and I used to go to watch horror movies a lot. And I kind of think that he was there to tell me that, it is all real. What you think is real. Yeah. I don't know why he was on the staircase. I don't know what he wanted. Yeah. And I would love to know what he wanted, but.
Well, it's not like he was just trying to tell you that, that stuff is real.
Right.
It's crazy because, we talk about past lives as well, you know, and how you found your people. And also with the Akashic records, your kids could be your people from a different life.
Right.
So like my youngest son, and JT knows him very well. My youngest son is like, he's so weird because he's
so weird.
Well, he's like, he can have a conversation with you like we're having right now. And he's 5. And he knows things like just about life.
He knows things he shouldn't know.
Exactly. But, and when you talk to my son, literally, if anybody, I remember we were at a party one time, and this guy who knows me, doesn't know me well, but is an acquaintance of mine. He was talking to my son, and he's like, my son told him something. He's like, how old are you? And my son was like, 4. He was 4 years old. He's like, 4. He's like, wow. I was like, yeah. So my son always talks to me about, he's like, Dad, you're my favorite dad. And I'm like, I'm your only dad, bud. He's like, no, you're not my only dad, but you're my favorite dad. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, and he always talks about how he misses his sister. And we're like, buddy, you don't have this. And my oldest son, like, you don't have a sister. Like, I'm your brother. He's like, you don't have a sister, but I had a sister. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, and
yeah. Wow.
And what's crazy about it too is like, so he has his birthmark on his face right here. And no, it's on this side. It's right here. And it's, dark birthmark. But right here on his neck is the exact same mark, but it's white.
You know that what they say about birthmarks, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They say that's how you died in a past life.
Yes.
And with your son being that young, he remembers his past lives right now. Until they get around 7, or I guess it's around 6 or 7, they can remember a lot of their spirit in the spirit world, spirit life.
He is very just in tune with life. Period. It's weird.
Yeah.
I love it because
I would not discourage him from that.
No, well, you know me.
Absolutely.
You know me. I'm like, I keep my kids like, to this day they'll ask me something, but like, is a monster? Is this real? I'm like, I don't know, maybe.
No, listen, I have an 8-year-old son, and so he absolutely is. He's similar to like your son. I mean, he knows way more than he should about everything, and I don't discourage that. I'm totally cool with it. I talk to him like he's an adult. And I haven't taken him out to the woods to do the Bigfooting thing yet because it's so dangerous what we do.
Yeah.
The areas with the portals and all that kind of stuff too, it's not real safe. But he's very in tune, and I feel like there's a lot of children that are born in that generation, our kids' generation, that are here for a much higher purpose. Okay.
Yeah. I tell people that. And I talked to JT about it because he actually knows my son. And I say, look, I'm not trying to talk my kid up. I really am not. But he knows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he's just different. And in a good way. Even his teachers, he went to school, peeps. He was in school. He's been in school since he was 3. And like he's 5 now, but like he's already can pass kindergarten. They wanted us to jump him up to kindergarten when he was like 4.5, and we're like, no, that's just a big jump for him. We thought, but now he's already got the stuff to where he can pass kindergarten, all that jazz, And his teacher's like, he's just very, he's there. It's like an adult. He's like a little adult.
He's far more self-aware than a child that young should be.
It's so crazy. Right. And same thing with my oldest son, but they're very intelligent. And it definitely didn't get it from me. So they must have got it from their mom. But like they are very, very, very intelligent. My oldest son with math, like he's a little punk because he'll tell me, he'll be like, Dad, what's 9 times 8? I'm like, dude, don't. He's like, Dad, just calm down, count it out. I'm like, what? Don't talk to, because he does math like this in his head. It's
the new math.
Yes, he just does math in his head, and it's nuts.
I don't understand the old math much.
But my youngest son, though, I really feel like he's in tune with a lot of things and it's awesome. And I am one of those parents who I let that shit fly. I'm like, yeah dude, you do you, bud. And I think that he does remember that stuff, and he's trying to figure things out in life. He's seeing life a totally different way than I see life. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids. They call them. A lot of people say starseeds. Okay, and and I think a lot of our kids are. And my kid started speaking light language a couple of years ago, if y'all know what that is. Mm-mm. And it sounds like he's trying to speak Spanish, but he doesn't know. He speaks English. Okay.
Gotcha,
but it's like just like all these different languages combined, and it sounds cool, but I didn't understand what it was until I started hanging out with other star seeds who were like, oh, that's light language. Your son sounds like he's speaking this language and that, and this goes.
That's so funny because my youngest he starts saying this stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about, buddy? He's like, I'm just talking, and he's
it's
like,
light language,
saying this stuff that me and my wife both were like, what are you talking about, buddy? He's just doing this little thing, making up stuff. Yeah. And now it creeps my wife out a little bit because now he's like, he'll be like talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And he has names for these people. He has like 4 friends. He has 4 friends that he talks to.
Okay, let me tell you what to do so tell your wife to look into light language, okay, and to kind of get an idea of what that is, and what it is it actually is very healing, and it's a frequency, it's a vibration, okay.
Oh yeah,
and it's a universal soul language, very healing to everyone around. Even though people other kids have made fun of my kid, at the pool and stuff this summer. They're like, "Are you speaking Spanish?"
Yeah, so my son, when he walks
So-
into a room though, he's like a little light.
Yeah, so is my son.
I promise you, like he can. If you would take one day, I should get a GoPro and just when I walk him into school in the mornings, and the people, all grades in this school, everyone knows him, and he's just walking, giving hug, Knox, give me a hug, Knox, give me a hug, not all this, and teachers, everyone. He's just a little ball of light,
Yeah,
and
my son's the same way.
It's pretty crazy.
That's cool.
It's pretty crazy. But he has been doing that. He has been doing that for a couple years now. But now he's starting to talk to his friends that he has, he says. And my wife's like, "We're friends." And she doesn't really get freaked out about it, but she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, it is what it is, man." Like, and we both are the same way. We let it go and let him do his thing, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is. Well, don't discourage it. Let him
most
be
definitely.
him. Yeah. That's awesome.
Corey Cole commented on that. He says, "I was very in tune, and I let my folks convince me it was all my imagination. The problem with that was it didn't go away, and I thought I was crazy."
Yeah, exactly. And that's the point. Like for me, I have very strong empath, basically, so to speak. Like music gets to me, things like that. It's crazy. But like, I remember, and I tell people this, and it's so funny. I used to watch this show called Kung Fu, The Legend Begins, or whatever. Remember with David Carradine? So the opening scene of that, the rolling credits on the scene, is him walking through the desert. And he's all, he's walking, he's tired. I remember that I used to watch that, and then when I would watch it and I would see him walking through the desert and then show him get tired, I would literally fall to my knees like I was exhausted and just sit there watching it. Like I felt exactly what he was going through. And I would do that with shows and stuff like that. Wow. And with music, I do the same way.
And think about how we are that is used to program people. Okay, so like you as an empath, like got tired watching the guy in the sand. Well, imagine all the programming that's pumped in every day to just the general public, where people are living in fear, and they're pumping all this fear, war, poverty, loss, lack mentality. Like just imagine all the empaths out there that don't realize they're empaths, that are sitting there glued to their TVs every day, living in fear, and like how that controls people and stuff like that. So it's used like something so pure and so beautiful like that you have tapped into. They use that use that against like as a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I haven't watched TV in like actual TV program. I haven't watched TV in probably 3 years.
Me neither. It's been longer than that for me.
So now I can watch whatever I want to. I choose what I want to watch, but I 100% agree with you. It's funny, a little something funny from that. So my son stayed night at their cousin's house, my brother's kid's house, my brother's house. They're staying night there. My brother had a Snapchat video, and he's like, walked in the room. He's like, "So why can't you watch SpongeBob?" And my oldest was like, "My mom says it makes us, doesn't teach us anything. It makes us stupid." I'm like, well, it is what it is. So, but it's fun. But you're right. You're right. It's the stuff that it feeds you and it feeds into is just it's really crazy how Batman, little reference,
Batman.
No, with Jim Carrey as Riddler.
Yeah.
Remember the whole freaking the brain thing, right? With the TV to the, Yeah. Well, and they say that what's the reason why they have to put this stuff in front of you is because so that they don't have to pay the karma on it
because of the free will. Exactly.
Yeah.
They have to tell us. Like on my show on last Friday, I remote viewed the lizard man in South Carolina at Scape War Swamp. And that town, Lee County, Lee County, actually, the South Carolina Emergency Management Agency put out a warning on the last eclipse we had back in 2019, I think. We had like a solar eclipse, and they put out a warning showing the map of where the lizard man sightings had been. And it said, watch out for the lizard man. And it was kind of tongue in cheek, but we put that up there to show everybody. And I was like, well, is it tongue in cheek? Or is it they're having to tell everybody that there's going to be a lizard man out tonight? Because these things eat humans. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
They're reptilians. Like it's funny. People laugh at it, but they have to tell us just in case.
It's like I tell everybody I talk to, I'm like, how many kids go missing a year in the US? Yeah. I mean, it's like 800.
According to NAMI, over 600,000 people go missing every year.
Yeah. And it's it's like, what? That's a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of children.
A lot of children, and like, I don't know. I feel personally that like I was put on the earth to protect kids, man, because I can't. It's so hard for me to see anything happen to a kid. Like, even we talked about that before. Last night we talked about it on a show we did. Like, we watched the new It remake, and there's a part where the boy gets hurt in the beginning of it, and it's just like, it really got
hard
me.
to watch.
We were watching it in theater. I looked over at JD. I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can watch this. Like, that was rough for me,
It was very graphic too.
Yes, and that's the whole point. And my son was the same age as that kid, and it was just fucking like, and my oldest son's an empath for a lot too. He's very empath. Like, it's crazy the way he gets into things. Like, yeah, like, he won't watch. We watched Neverending Story the other day. I say the other day. It was like a year ago. And Trey, when the horse dies, Atreyu dies. He's like,
that's the worst.
Oh, he'll be like, Mom, is this the movie with the horse? And he's like, no, I'm not watching this.
Oh, that traumatized so many of us as kids.
Oh yeah.
It was a rough scene to watch.
That was a bad one. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's damn quicksand, man. Whatever that was. That was horrible.
Where the red fern grows.
Yeah.
He's very empathetic, that stuff. But that, and then that all leads into being connected. Maybe the reason why you love your children so much is because
you're connected to
that's your connection, and like, it's crazy. Like, people always said that, you have kids, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And I mean, they're right. Do I think everyone should have kids? Definitely not. There's people who have kids who should not have kids.
Totally agree.
I agree with that.
Yes. But I will say that, for me personally, I cannot describe to you the love I have for my kids, the connection that's there. And I mean, I
totally agree.
It's there's more to it. So that's when people tell me that we're living in a simulation. I'm like, I don't believe that. It's impossible for me to believe that whenever I see the connections you have with human beings.
Right.
And it's not every human being.
That's what I was going to say, that it's not everybody. Like, not everybody has the empathy that most of us have, or a lot of us have. Unfortunately, I mean, there are like soulless humans walking around this earth right now.
Someone just said that, and Corey, I think, said that. He said that he's seen people who looked like they had no soul behind their eyes.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I've encountered people that there was just nothing back there.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I was married to one.
Oh.
I say that laughing, but that's kind of true. So
that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough stuff. I got lucky. Like I said, I met my wife in 21 years almost now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're still happy, believe it or not. People are like, I can't believe you guys. You guys just make me sick. That's what's bad about it, is that people are like, you make us sick. Because
we're beautiful.
When I was a deputy with Greene County, the guy I've been next year be 30 years we've been married, and the guys, a lot of the younger guys would say, "Hey, Robert, what's the secret to being happily married for that long?" And my answer was always the same. I said, "The secret to it is you can be right or you can be happy, but you can't be both."
Yeah. See, we get in arguments. We get in arguments sometimes, and I'm like, all right, just shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
I always tell people I've been happily married to my wife for 15 years. My wife would be like, "We've been married for 16." I was like, "Yeah, that first year was a little rough, honey."
But no, it's funny. It's funny because my wife, I've known her for a very long time, but longer than we've been together. But we've always, I mean, since day one I met her, you know, we were probably 13 years old, 12 years old, somewhere in there. I mean, it's just boom. Yeah, like
instant connection.
That's beautiful. You know, there's an attack on that too, and that's why people have that mindset. It's like, oh, that's horrible. You've been with the same person for that long. Oh my God, like that, I would die for that. That's awesome. You know.
Yes, I tell people, you know, like they're like, you know, because we're very affectionate. We're always hugging each other and always just. It is. If I sat back and think about it, it is kind of weird. But no, like and people were like, either we get, you guys make me sick if they know us because they know us forever and you know we've been together forever, or it's someone who doesn't know us at all. Like, oh, you guys are so cute. How long you been together? A year or two? And we're like, no, 20.
Wow.
Like,
well, you know, there's such a disconnection though. And it all comes down to something that's very important right now is what does it mean to be human? Okay. Because we're missing that human connection. And it has been something that's been under attack along with our psychic abilities for many, many years. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And our parents' generation were dealing with this. Okay. And so it's all about finding that human connection again. Okay. And yeah, getting off these stupid phones. My phone actually crashed today. Like that half of my screen went completely blank and I could not type anymore. And I was like, what am I going to do? My phone, you know? And I realized I'm on my phone all day, every day. Like, you know, and it made me nervous and they had anxiety, but I was like, you know what, maybe this is a sign. Okay. You need to get off
Put
that
the phone down and talk to people.
Yeah. But we have to get back to a human connection and family, you know, loving our families and spending time with our communities and, you know, just being human. Okay. Not depending on technology so much. And, you know, I don't know.
That's why I tell him, that's why I really want to start going to more conventions, because meeting someone face to face.
Oh yeah.
And that you
there's more of a connection.
Yeah.
I think they froze up.
I think the connection was lost. We just lost that human connection there.
Yeah. I think we lost
usually it's my connection. Yeah. Well, he was talking about the connection with, you know, going to conferences. You know, I actually spoke at the Georgia Bigfoot conference this year. While we're waiting for them to come back, I'll just step in here for a minute. But yeah, you know, I was at the Georgia Bigfoot conference and I had people that actually traveled there from different states just to come talk to me that knew me from my shows and stuff. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. You know, that people that had been watching me on my shows wanted to actually come meet me in person and come talk. And, you know,
that's awesome too.
Yeah. It's a whole other element to this, you know, like we're doing this whole thing online, DA, and it's like, it's all fun and we're putting out there and we're connecting to thousands, if not millions of people. Okay. Not that I don't get 1 million views on my channel, but you know,
I would love it.
We get a few, it's fine. But you know, we're still making these connections, but
absolutely.
Getting out there and meeting people face to face is that there's nothing like it, you know, having those connections. So yeah, it's fun. I hope the guys can make it back tonight.
He just texted me and said they lost their internet.
Oh yeah,
it's back,
and we're back.
Yahoo!
We're back. That is the second time tonight that we have
we've lost the
internet here. It's crazy.
You know,
the internet's kind
of like an airplane. You never really appreciate it until it goes down.
Yeah,
I think AI got mad at us because we were just talking about getting off of it.
We're talking about being humans, you know. Yeah. Like, y'all can't be humans. Screw y'all.
Like, wait a minute, they're getting a little too touchy on the subject. Kill them.
And this is another reason why conventions are great, because we don't have to worry about now. Next time I see one of you guys in person at a convention, I'm going to sit there and be like,
if you freeze up and digitize, I'm going to freak out.
But no, I'm actually I am working in my head and on paper. I'm working on starting our own convention.
That would be cool.
So and being
Raleigh
that
needs a
we're,
convention.
well, being that we're in Missouri and we're right in the middle, you know, almost
We're
like
right in the middle of everything.
everybody, it would be something we could set up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working on it and I want to get it set up. It's going to be a freaking good time. So
I'm
that
in.
we can all get together in person. You know, there's a lot of people that are involved in it too. Like getting the people that we're getting involved in coming down and
Right.
stuff. But once it happens, it's going to be freaking awesome. I'm stoked
yeah.
about it, you know. But we definitely want to get you on our show. So
Absolutely, Jessica. We need to get you on and
Thank you.
have a really fun conversation.
yes,
I mean, I know a little bit about a little bit, or
You know
or maybe a
little bit
lot.
about everything.
Maybe a lot. I know a little bit about a lot. So
that's what I say. Yeah,
yeah,
I know it.
no, I don't know. You know, I've just spent a lot of time in the woods and doing, you know, paranormal field research and things like that. So I have a lot of good stories. Okay, let's just put it that way.
Yeah, well,
happy anniversary, Tammy.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary. That's awesome.
Well, you know, so on our show, you can listen to, like, if you listen to our Adrenochrome episode and all the other stuff.
Oh yeah,
like,
totally listen to that one. I hadn't heard it yet, but
we freaking in our Akashic Records episode we did with DA was really good too.
Oh yeah,
But,
that's a great episode.
and we actually just did a really good episode last night.
Except for when Zoom kept crashing on us.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well,
yeah.
I think I fixed that problem now. So
He punched the screen about 15 times.
Send somebody a threatening email.
Usually, you know, we joke around a lot, but we talk about stuff, but we joke around quite a bit. So I mean, we like to have a good time and stuff, but we, you know, sometimes a lot of people get offended on things, but I don't get very.
Well,
I don't get offended.
You got to take it. Yeah, you got to just put on your suit of armor and just be like, whatever. You know, people are always going to get offended. It's something.
Yes.
So, you know, there's not a whole lot we can do about that. So,
yeah. So basically, you when you
time.
listen.
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead, bud.
I was going to say, I think we should spend less time focusing on what our differences are and look for more commonalities, find common ground.
Well, what was that? What was that? Was that a song or something? That someone said that if, you know, people would just sit down and listen, they realize that we have so much more in common.
Yeah.
Than look at what's the guy's name? David something. I can't remember, but he was a black gentleman who goes around and he basically changed white supremacist Ku Klux Klan members' minds.
Oh, I remember reading an article about that.
And these guys would actually come and, like, they sat down with them and they're like, you know, realize that this is the dumbest thing we're doing right now. You know?
Right.
It's like, you know, I judge everybody, like we've talked about this entire time, off of your vibe, your aura, what you're putting off on me. You know, that's what matters. Yeah. And I'm very high. Like, I laugh constantly. I'm always joking all the time. So, you know,
I mean, that's how we need to, you know, like, I think the future, especially, this is how, I mean, I am attracting my tribe by my vibe. Okay. You attract your tribe by your vibe. And I go off of vibes now, not like off of status or, like, you know, how much money you make or what your job is or your color, your religion, none of that. It's really just your vibe.
Yeah.
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 Because I've met a lot of people who have a lot of money that I can't stand.
Yeah, me too. Right?
I feel like if you've got a good soul, you'll collect good souls.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of Akashic Records.
And you guys remember this one thing too. Our energy is our biggest currency. It's our biggest asset. Okay. Yes. So be very careful with who you share your energy with. Okay. Because you're in, you know, your energy is not free. Okay. Don't give it to everybody. All right. Not everybody deserves to get your energy and your attention.
100%.
That may sound terrible to some people, but I don't care.
I completely get it. You know, I mean, there's people out there that aren't worthy of.
It took me forever to talk my wife in that, but she's finally got it now for the last 4 years.
And now she puts up with you.
And she's been that way.
Yeah.
No, but there's been people that she put a lot of time and effort into. And I'm the type of person that I've kicked every one of. I have 5 siblings. and you know, parents and all that. And I've kicked a lot of my family out of my life for a long time because, hey, when you have less drama and bad juju, then you come back and say what's up. Until then, adios. I got zero time for negativity in my life.
You don't owe anyone anything if they're going to bring your vibration down, your frequency, and not support you. You know.
Yeah, it's like I told my wife.
It is what it is.
There's 3 people that affect my life that no matter what, and that's her and these 2 people that are on my arms, my sons. That's you know, that's it. Those 3. Other than that, I don't put up with anybody's shit.
Yeah,
he lies.
I've
He's
had
been
to
putting up
learn
with me
to
for
stop
3 years now.
Yeah, you know.
That's by choice, right?
It's because I love you.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think we're getting ready to jump off here, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is 2.5 hours in. We usually wrap up around the 2-hour mark. But it's
we apologize.
Oh, dude, no, not at all. When the
conversation.
conversation's going, I'm 100% on board. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, we sat here one time for 5 hours with the 2 directors and 2 actors from England, UK, and we were only supposed to be on it for an hour, and we ended up 5 hours. 5 hours later, it was
crazy.
Yeah, it was fun though.
But we had a good conversation with them.
100%.
You know,
and that's what matters.
And that is what matters.
And we've kept them guys close to us. I mean, they send us messages occasionally and
movie stuff.
You know, hey, you know, we're working on this and blah blah blah, and you know, it's kind of cool.
I take it as a badge of honor if someone wants to sit there and talk to you for 5 hours, for 2 hours.
Absolutely.
You know? You know what I mean? I mean, it's. But I just want to say thanks for having us on.
Hey, anytime, man.
Great time,
Jessica. Please get a hold of us.
Yeah.
Oh, I will. Listen, I've already got like all these videos about adrenochrome and stuff. I'm going to send to y'all that has to do with cryptids and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I got a list of stuff to send y'all already. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
We'll
we look forward to having you on the show. It'll be a good time. We promise you.
Yeah, and
make sure you go over to YouTube, go over to the Cryptid Huntress on YouTube and the Horror Chronicles on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe their videos. Join their channel, and show them some love because they've got some awesome content on both channels. And I'm proud to know all of them. They're just fantastic people that I've managed to attract in my life, and I hope that I will continue to do so in the future.
Oh
Thank you.
Awesome.
Ditto.
Yes. Hey, to you too, sir. To you too, sir.
Also, for those of you that didn't catch the announcement last night, I just posted the link. My newest book is out. It is Apex Predator Dark Moon, the 5th installment of the Apex Predator series. That makes book number 26, which I'm pretty proud of. And I can't wait to start seeing the reviews roll in. It's got 1 review so far on Amazon. So if you like the book, if you've read the book, please leave a review on Amazon because those do really help drive the mechanics of Amazon. And again, I want to thank everybody for being on. JT, Ryan, awesome brothers. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Jessica, thank you for jumping in. You are always awesome. Thank you for coming in.
I have so much fun.
I always have a great time. And Anthony, hope you get to feeling better, brother. Hopefully we'll see you on Saturday. If not, I totally understand. You guys just keep Anthony and Doc both. Keep them in your, and Steve, Steve and his family have been dealing with everybody in the house has COVID. And Anthony had a loss in his family. He lost his mother. So, guys, keep the thoughts on them. And want to thank everybody for being here tonight. It's been a fantastic show. Remember what I always say. Stories are journeys that we take together. And thank each and every one of you for taking this journey with us. You guys are awesome. We will see you guys on Saturday night. And then on Saturday night, we'll have Bettina Moss from Crypto Encounters with B. Moss. It's going to be a great show. And can't wait to see you guys then. JT, Ryan, you guys be good. Keep it creepy.
Yeah. You know it.
All right, guys. You guys be safe. Have a great night. And again, thank you everybody for being here tonight. You guys have a great night. See you this weekend.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAX Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.